Take two. Welcome, everybody, and take two, thank you for sticking with me. I apologize. My OBS has been acting up today for no particular reason, but we'll try and keep things going strong. Everything should be working. Yeah, everything should be working. I don't know what the problem is. Okay. We'll try and keep it going. Try and keep it going strong. Alright. I think I can close this. Trying to close windows, maybe that'll help. I'm back. So I'm sorry, guys. Oh, man. Yeah, OBS decided to crash on me for no apparent reason, but we're back. We're back. Everything should be fine. This is fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. This is fine. Alright, closing more windows. Just, you know, trying to keep things running smoothly. I am streaming elsewhere, thank you. I'm over on YouTube and on Twitch, so if you want to hear background music or any voice effects that I end up doing, because I do ASMR, all of that stuff is over on my Twitch and YouTube channel. I am simul-streaming, so welcome. And for anybody who is over on Twitch and is used to me having subscriptions and such, I chose to leave the affiliate program at Twitch so that I could broadcast simultaneously. Something not a lot of people recognize is that when you stream on Twitch and you become an affiliate, part of the contract states that you have exclusivity. Which there's an exclusivity clause, which means that I have to stream only on Twitch if I am an affiliate with Twitch. But I have been wanting to switch over to YouTube for a while. I found a way to simultaneously broadcast on both, so that's what I am doing. I'm sure if you guys are on YouTube or Twitch, you'll probably see like a restream logo. I'm trying out that service, and if we like it, then I'll keep it, and I'll pay for the proper version that doesn't have a watermark. But we're trying new things. That's what I'm all about. Trying new things, having some fun. Everything is fine. Everything is awesome. Oh, thanks. We do what we can. But I figured we would keep the party going from Dawn's stream. He was going through his feed, his Discord feed, full of different people sharing the various, like, Lord of the Rings memorabilia they have, memories that they have about Fellowship of the Ring, cosplay. There was one person in Russia who made a handwritten version of Return of the King. Like, the entire book. It took them weeks to create it because you couldn't find Russian versions of the book. So, heck yeah, like, there are so many amazing people and amazing stories when it comes to Lord of the Rings, and I just wanted to continue to celebrate all that. I just realized you can totally see my fan over here. Sorry. Super professional. I've been moving, so everything's all over the place in my bedroom. Like, this bookshelf behind me used to be completely full of stuff. Oh yeah, I mean, I really wanted to do, like, a film watching, but the only way of doing that is getting a group of people together and just having everyone press start at the same time, because, of course, all of the movies are copyrighted, and they can't be restreamed without explicit permission from the people who currently hold the streaming rights, which right now is HBO Max. Thus, Dawn getting sponsored, because the only place you can watch the extended edition of the Lord of the Rings trilogy is over on HBO Max. So I'm not paid or sponsored by said service, but go check them out if you'd like to stream Lord of the Rings to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Fellowship of the Ring. My kittens are good. Let's see. That's Gray. Over here on TikTok, that's Gray. And then over here, over on Twitch and YouTube is Alana. They're curled up. They're happy. Gray spent like half of Dawn's live stream sitting right in front of me, but he decided to abandon the desk for the much softer bed behind me. But the kittens are doing well. They have no idea what's coming. They don't understand that I'm about to move. They don't know. They're like, why are all these boxes here? What are these bins about? Why are you moving everything around again? Because I recently just like rearranged my entire room. So my cats are like, oh, she's doing it again. They don't know. They don't know we're going to be moving. Yeah, I mean, they do get to climb into boxes. I have left a couple boxes down for them to enjoy. There's one like right here. I love my kittens. A full illuminated text LOTR. Yikes. That'd be awesome. What is my favorite phrase in Elvish? That's a tough one. Movie dialogue, I really like the dialogue that Legolas is saying to Aragorn when they're arguing. Like, part of the fun of Elvish is that it's not just the really ethereal, beautiful stuff that you hear Cate Blanchett and Liv Tyler spout, because they are amazing at it, but you don't see them, like, when you see Arwen get into a fight, like, she's just really still soft-spoken about it. Like, she and Aragorn fight in the extended edition. I can't remember if it's the Fellowship or if it's a flashback in the Two Towers, but she and Aragorn argue when he's sort of like sneaking off, and she's like, hey, you thought you could leave unnoticed? Like, what the hell? And he's like, I'm gonna give you back your necklace, and we're gonna stop this, because it was a dream. We can't do this. And Arwen gets really upset about it, but she basically, you know, gives him the necklace back and says, keep it. Like, it was a gift. Keep it. But even when she's arguing, it's really soft-spoken. The thing I loved about that moment in the Two Towers at Helm's Deep between Legolas and Aragorn, not only because I love the pairing of the two of them, I'm part of the fandom, you can imagine, there's a lot of queer content, but I loved hearing people argue in Elvish. It just seemed very slice of life to me. Like, it's not necessarily in the books that there's this conflict that, you know, Legolas is like, dude, the odds are so against them. Like, everybody here is going to die. Not the Dagathair. Not the Dagathair, he says. But the way that Orlando Bloom enunciates it and delivers, like, he doesn't have a lot of dialogue in the movies, but like, he finally got to really have like an argument in Elvish, and I loved that. I loved it. So, let's see. What was the exact stuff that he said? I can look it up. I'm getting there. Let's see. There's Two Towers. Oh yeah, there are the flashbacks between Aragorn and Arwen. Okay. So they're arguing about the, you know, impending doom of the men at Helm's Deep. And Legolas says, Boyahun, Nilid Herain dan Kairminig? Like, they should be afraid. And he's like, they're afraid. You can see it in their eyes. And then he says in Elvish, he switches over to Elvish to try and like cover his ass, because he's about to say something people don't want to hear. He says, and they should be 300 against 10,000. To which Aragorn responds, Si, Beriathar hun amaig edoras. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today. Amaig edoras. They have more hope of defending themselves here than at Edoras. And Legolas then says, Aragorn. Nedin dagorhen u erir orthri nathadagadair. And then Aragorn yells, and I will die, then I will die as one of them. And Legolas, like, You sort of like see just the tiniest little wibble. Because Legolas isn't used to like being yelled at by Aragorn because they're friends. I loved that. I loved that scene. Legolas tries to like go after him, and Gimli's like, no, let him go, laddie. Let him go. Poor Legolas. But I loved that. that was one of my favorite lines in the movie. That whole encounter, really. Oh, thank you for the finger hearts. I do this all the time. Thank you for the finger hearts over on TikTok. I appreciate you guys. If you want to hear the music, any audio effects, please head over to either my YouTube or my Twitch. I am simultaneously broadcasting there. So, yes. Oh, and I totally missed the raid. Hi, guys! I had another window open on my computer. I didn't even see that we're being raided. Hi, everybody! Welcome, Fodondor! I need, like, the flag. I need the standard with the big ol' tree of Gondor on it. All I have is a Legolas blanket on my bed behind me. That's the best I can do today. Sorry. That's the best you're gonna get, unfortunately. Everything else has already been packed because I'm moving, which is really exciting. I'm moving. But yeah, I wanted to continue the fun over here from Dawn's stream. You guys, if you were over on Dawn's stream, you saw my video that I posted on TikTok about things that I haven't shared on my TikTok about like my Lord of the Rings experience. So basically, I didn't know about Tolkien until I went to see Fellowship of the Ring with my family. Had never heard of it, hadn't read The Hobbit, none of it. I think I have a really vague memory of seeing the animated version of The Hobbit, which is a hot frickin' mess. But I vaguely remember seeing that just because the cartoon style is so distinctive. But I didn't recognize what it was. I was too young to really know what the heck I was watching. But my sister was more into fantasy and stuff, so she was like, hey, we should all go see this movie for Christmas together. And so we went, and I lost my damn mind. I was instantly elf-obsessed. I went back and I watched Fellowship of the Ring in theaters 9 other times, and every single time I was in cosplay. Like, I jumped off right into the deep end. Super fun. I totally did. It was so much fun. Let's see. What else do we have going on? Trying to think in my brain. Okay, so a couple other things that happened. I started teaching myself Elvish in high school. The first movie came out when I was in, let's see, that was winter of 2001. So I was a sophomore in high school. Yes? Yes, I was a sophomore in high school. I'm like, I think? Yeah, I was a sophomore. So that was fall semester of my sophomore year in high school. And oh my word, straight off into the deep end. I'm a really slow reader, like horrifically slow reader. I tend to read things very slowly so that I retain them. I can't speed read to save my life, which is why I didn't test very well. Like, the SATs were so hard for me just because I don't read quickly. So me getting through all the questions was a nightmare, especially like the reading comprehension portions. I didn't do well. I did way better in math. I was 99th percentile in calculus on the SAT. So that gives you an idea of where my skill set lies. But as such, my reading in high school was relatively subpar. I hit Lord of the Rings, so I immediately was like, oh my god, I want to read these books. When the movies came out, like a few days later at that point, it was Christmas. And my sister, as a last-minute gift, asked family members for the trilogy. She wanted to read the books. She got 2 sets of The Hobbit plus Lord of the Rings. She got 2 box sets for Christmas. And I begged her to give me one of them. And so she did. She was nice about it. One of the few times during that time period that my sister was nice to me. She gave me one of her box sets because she didn't need 2 of them. And I immediately dove in. And I read The Hobbit and The Fellowship of the Ring in a single week. Which is wicked fast for me. That was so fast. And then it took me like 2 more years to get through the 2 Towers and Return of the King. I slowed back down again. But that initial burst was really, really fun. But I loved the appendices. I scoured the appendices. I loved learning about the calendar of Imladris. In high school, how you have lockers. At least here in the United States, we have lockers. So that we can store all of our books and everything. Especially as a band geek, we have larger lockers because they're supposed to be big enough to hold our instruments. I was a flute player, so I didn't really need a big locker, but I had one. So I had a calendar. They used to sell these magnetic calendars that you could still flip through, but it was magnetic. They would sell those for lockers, specifically. And I had a locker calendar that I wrote over because I converted the entire year count, the 9-month calendar that they have for high schoolers. I converted that into the calendar of Imladris so that I knew what month and day it was in the Elvish calendar. I also, when I ran out of that particular one for the years after that, I printed out and pasted up my own version of the calendar of Imladris into my locker. Like, when I tell you that I was obsessed, I truly mean it. Magavanen over on TikTok. Hello, everybody. Please join me over on Twitch or YouTube. Links are in my bio. You'll be able to hear the music, and if I do any singing or ASMR, you'll be able to hear all of the voice effects, all the resonance and echo, the good stuff. How long did it take me to read the Silmarillion? Over a year. There were a lot of starts and stops when I read the Silm the first time. But again, I tend to read things super slowly so that I retain the knowledge better. So I remembered all sorts of stuff from my first read-through. I'm only on my second read-through of the Silm. Like, full front-to-back read-through. That's what I've been doing on my live streams, Silmarillion Saturdays, which have been on hold because of my move, because I'm stressed as hell. I can't keep anything straight. That's the one book that I didn't pack, though, is my illustrated copy of the Silm. So I do still have it out. If I have the wherewithal to stream some more reading, we will continue with Silmarillion Saturdays. Don't hold me to it, but I'll try. I'll try. If I'm not pulling my hair out. I know, oh gosh, I love this copy. This copy is so beautiful. It really is. This is the burning of the ships at Losgar. Oh my gosh. And people are like, it's so brightly colored and it doesn't match any of the other books that are all muted tones. And I'm like, so? I'm like, it's freaking bright orange. What's not to love? I love it. I love that it's a bright color. Unfortunately, I've already done damage to the book because when I'm reading it live on stream, I tend to rest that corner against my desktop. So I've already fucked it up. Whoops. But yeah, as far as factoids you didn't know, I'm only on my second read-through of the Silm. And you guys have seen just how much Silmarillion knowledge I've got, so... let's see. My junior prom in high school, so this was my junior year of high school, Around the time that Two Towers was out, my mom had a friend who knew how to do dressmaking. And so we commissioned her to make me a crushed... I don't know that it was velvet, but it looked like crushed velvet. But it was this velvety crushed material. It had this wonderful texture to it. We commissioned her to make me a dress with the long, flowy sleeves. It was meant to look like an elven dress, right? This is back when I was very thoroughly presenting female. Now I'm way more neutral, but I know that I still present female. It's fine, whatever. These will go away eventually. It'll be fine. But we commissioned a dress that was in this brick reddish pink color, and I sat down and designed the embroidery for the dress, for like the breast piece of the dress. I designed the embroidery for the dress to look like the elven designs. It had the leaf and all these flowing lines and curves. And my mom, bless her heart, she took at least a week to embroider my dress by hand. And she did this, I think she tried to do it on the sewing machine, but it was using silver, like metallic silver thread. And if you've ever tried to use that thread for anything, you know what a pain in the ass it is. So through a labor of pure love, my mom embroidered my dress with the design that I created. I also did wire wrapping and made my own diadem, because I wanted something that was a cross between what we see Elrond and Galadriel wearing in the movies. So, yeah. Oh, do I have a bot? Gosh, I'm using a new service for my chat to bring in chat that's on Twitch and chat that's on YouTube. So, I don't know how to fix it. Let's see. I'm like, who's the bot? Who be the bot? Bing bong. Okay, I think I got it. Oh no, wait. I just banned the restream bot. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Crap. No, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, so... Whoops. I don't know how to fix that. I do not know how to fix that, so I'll have to worry about it at the end of the stream. That's embarrassing. Right, so, no, what did I do? Does that mean it's not gonna work for, like, anything else? That's embarrassing. It's because I did it on the wrong window. Sorry, guys. I'll try and fix it after the stream. So if you're looking and you don't see the chat from the other platform, apologies. I'll try and fix it at the end of the stream. Did I keep the dress? Yes. Yes. I did keep the dress. I still have it. I certainly don't fit it. I became broader in the shoulders, and certainly larger in the bust. I can't fit it anymore. I'd have to lose 60 pounds. I'd have to lose 60 pounds. You shall not bot. Yeah, apparently. Oops. Whoopsie. Do I own the new remastered edition of the movies? And if I do, are they worth the money? I don't think I do. I have a relatively recent Blu-ray version of the extended trilogy, but I don't believe it's the remastered ones. I don't think so. But as far as is it worth it, I have no idea. I decided to not. I decided to not buy a new version, no matter how beautiful it was. I decided to not get a new version. Excuse me, not get a new version of the movies. until after I've moved and settled and gotten a job. So I've put my spending on pause. I haven't bought myself any other books, not past my my Lord of the Rings, the deluxe versions of the Lord of the Rings that were released this past year. But I had pre-ordered those, so I didn't know I was moving when I bought them. Okay, where am I? I'm like, who am I? Who's here? I can't see where people are. I'm still getting used to this setup, I apologize. But yes, I wore an Elvish dress, custom-made Elvish dress with my own embroidery design on it. I did that for my junior prom. And then a bunch of drama happened in high school and I was miserable my senior year. But my give a damn was also busted. I mean, there's always a positive side, right? Like, I stopped caring what people thought between my junior and senior year. So I had a big blow-up fight with my best friend. We didn't speak to each other my entire senior year of high school. It was very sad. But it was very much we had mutual friends, and so we were always near each other, but never speaking to each other. It was so weird. High school's weird. But that's when people spread the rumors, oh my god, Chris is a lesbian. And so I was drum major of my marching band, so I'm like in charge of like a good number of people as a leader. And I just sat everyone down in the band and I was like, you may have heard rumors that I'm a lesbian. I'm bisexual. If anyone has a question about that, come to me directly. Dismissed. I'm like, I don't care about your opinions, but I'm just letting you know. So I came out to my entire marching band, and I was just like, if you've got questions, feel free to ask me. But other than that, not my problem. It's not my problem now. And yeah, setting the record straight, if you will. Oh boy. They did not know what to make of me in high school. I broke the mold in my small town. Yeah, high school me was over it. Thank you, Preston. Shout out to Androgynous Art in chat. Let's see, where is that coming from? I'm not sure if it's even coming through on both of the servers now. Whoopsie. But shout out to Androgynous Art. That is my cousin Preston. I think Preston learned from my mistakes in high school. My cousin's amazing. Move it, kitten. My cousin is awesome. If you saw that audio on TikTok that went super viral, that was man? No. But sometimes, like little fella? Yes. Sure. Woman? No. But people perceive me as woman. But sometimes it's like, ha, gotcha. That audio that went really viral from an avocado, my cousin Preston did a video wearing all sorts of different outfits, like the fabulous person they are. And just blew it out of the water. What was that, like 3 million views on that video for you, Preston? Oh my god, it was epic. I was so proud. So proud. So very proud. But that, yeah, my senior year was interesting. Stop. It's fine. You're amazing and everyone should know that. I'm like, shut up and take it. I got my first Twitter troll yesterday. Kind of proud of that. So, I did a video recently on TikTok that is addressing Stephen Colbert's rap video that he put out for his 20th anniversary celebration for the Fellowship of the Ring a couple days ago. Alana, my kitten, has decided it's her stream now. Kitten. But I made a video because Don Marshall poked me and was like, hey, can you translate the Elvish on Method Man's hat? And I was like, no, I can't. Want to know why? Because it's not done properly. They did the Elvish wrong on Method Man's hat. And so I was just like, how did no one catch this? Like, Colbert is this huge Tolkien geek. I'm pretty sure that he knows the bare minimum basics of Elvish, enough to know that certain characters don't go together. And that if you have a word and it doesn't have any accents over anything, if it doesn't have any diacritics, it's wrong. Unless we're talking Mode of Beleriand. But like, he's a big enough geek that I would trust him to know these things. And so it must have been that whoever was in charge of wardrobe for Method Man's section of the rap, just, they made an amateur mistake. And it's unfortunately a mistake that I see way too often. Now that I'm on TikTok and now that I have people messaging me to double check their tattoos, I have unfortunately seen 2 or 3 at this point that made this same mistake. Countless people who are DIYing their Elvish tattoos make this mistake. All they do is they go into a word processor, they type out what they want to put in Elvish, and then they change it to an Elvish font. Not knowing that the keyboard mapping for Elvish fonts is completely different. Because if you look at the chart in the Lord of the Rings appendices, it gives you a chart of the characters, and it's 4x6. That chart is put on its side and plastered right onto the keyboard. So you don't get vowels without doing shift and another key, because you have a bunch of different vowel keys to make sure that the diacritics are placed properly depending on the character that they're over. It's complicated. Elvish is complicated. And the person who made the hat for Method Man just did that. They highlighted Method and they switched it to the Tengwar Anatar font, not knowing that doesn't actually transliterate. It just gives you random characters because the keyboard mapping is different. So they made this mistake. Method Man wore the hat, and I'm like, dude, if I'm Method, I'm pissed right now. Because the moment someone points out that I'm wearing a hat that doesn't actually say Method on it, because some noob Steve on the wardrobe department fucked up, I'd be angry. But I understand the people who made the comments going, hey, if Method Man's hat is wrong, I am not gonna be the one to tell him. And I'm like, yeah, if I'm on set, I would be poking the director or, a superior being like, the Elvish on the hat is wrong. Like, do we just want to leave the hat out? It would be easier to leave the hat out than put it in and have it be wrong. Damn it, Steve! The intern Steve. Chad the intern. Oh boy. Okay, yeah. My chat is now not working. The moment I did that, I think it stopped populating my entire chat, so I can't see anything. Womp womp. I will definitely have to fix this. Okay. Yeah, because it's not showing things on my feed anymore. Dang. Okay, at the very least, I can see that the stuff that's happening on Twitch is still populating on the stream. I'll have to fix this. I made such a mistake. I don't know how to fix it. Because there's not an undo. There's not an undo to banning things in my chat on OBS. Oops. Sorry, guys. Head over to Twitch. I won't be able to see your chat unless you're on Twitch. I feel so foolish. But yes, so, I got my first Twitter troll. He called me cringe. I think the comment was, quote, and I thought the rap video was cringe. I'm like, bitch, what? So I responded with, hey, about your opinion, and then a gif that was like, I don't care. Because I don't. To which, as any true troll would do, their response was, cared enough to comment about it. And I'm like, okay, bitch, it's on. I'm like, because people equate recognition of your opinion as respect for your opinion, and those are completely different things. I'm like, I don't care about your opinion. What I care is that you thought it was okay to make a completely fucking useless comment on my Twitter. So no, I don't care about your opinion. I care about you being an asshole. And I'm gonna put you in your place. Because I can. So, you know, cared enough to comment. To which I said, are we in the Grey Havens or Moria? Because I swear I smell salt on the air, but there's a cave troll. Which I thought was witty. Was it cringe? Abso-fucking-lutely it was. That was the point. I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna be even more cringe to make the point that I don't care. Hey, thank you the first time chat, Lord Bunnybone. Yeah, that's my wit. That's my immediate wit. And then I blocked him, and then I unblocked him, because I was like, you know what? No, not worth it. Let's see what he has to say. I want to see it. I want to see his response. He made 4 responses, deleted 3 of them. And I'm like, amateur. I'm like, you can tell, like, I get notifications on my phone when people mention me or reply on Twitter. So I got a notification for all of his messages and read them in full, and then saw that they had been deleted. I'm like, oh, come on. In one, he called me a sad and lonely individual. Like, you're definitely showing your hand, and it's just kind of pathetic. And I'm like, sad and lonely, huh? Want to know why I'm sad and lonely? My partner died in 2019. They're the one who taught me Elvish. Do you want to talk sad and lonely and cringe? I am all of those things. Fuck off. But I ended my response because I decided to do a video response. I'm like, you know, like, fuck Twitter's character limit. I'm like, screw the character limit. I'm just gonna, like, address them. And so I made a quick little video response, which I then posted on TikTok because it was amusing. But the ultimate message was, I am cringe, lonely, and sad. You can't argue with someone who's agreeing with you. Also, if you're going to insult me, do it in Elvish and hit me harder, daddy. To which he replied, yeah, I didn't watch that. It must be so sad to make videos no one watches. And then he blocked me, and I responded to my own message, because once he blocks me, I can't respond to his. But everyone else can still see it, and I'm like, okay? And I'm like, aw, you blocked me before I could say you watched my video. Like, we wouldn't be here having a Twitter argument if you yourself had not watched my video that no one watches. I'm like, foot into mouth, argument done, I win. Hit me harder next time. It was great. I got a wonderful boost of serotonin by doing this. Typically, I'm not the person spoiling for a fight. I'm really not. I tend to be non-confrontational. But I was excited over having my first Twitter troll. And that excitement gave me a boost of my give-a-damn's busted. I didn't care. I'm like, ooh, this'll be fun. Bring it. So, I had fun with that. I'm not sure he did. I called him Tiny Tim just to be an asshole. Yeah, trolling comments. Or trolling commitment issues. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're gonna insult me, at least make it good. like, I want to feel the burn. I'm like, you're basically just doing a little lighter in front of me and going, ooh. It's not enough. Make it sting. Make it sting or don't bother. That's my approach to online hate. Make it sting or don't bother. It's so much energy. It's a waste of energy. It's like, at least insult me in Elvish so that you might still be a scrote, but at least I'm going to respect you for having done some research. Stanislavski Utehagen for acting classes for these trolls. Yeah, they need some schooling. It's okay. It's okay. It's first time for everything. Their Twitter account said in their bio in their Twitter that they had been banned on Instagram for talking shit. You've been warned. And I'm like, you don't even talk good shit. Do better. I used a gif of Victoria Beckham as Posh Spice doing one of her winks, one of her iconic winks, and it says in big letters, "Try harder." Loving it. Oh, cool. Michael, if you are now on Twitch, I can see your message from YouTube. So at least it's populating over there. This whole thing is crazy. But let's continue, shall we? Okay, let's see. Anything else from my high school that I can do? The first time I ever binded, the first time I ever did chest binding, it was for one of my Elvish cosplays. Because I wanted to be flatter. I used an ace bandage. Don't do that. If you are the type that is going to bind, don't use ace bandages. The elastic is actually really dangerous because it keeps compressing and it doesn't allow you to breathe easily. So it can do damage to your breast tissue, damage to your ribs, and you could potentially pass out because you can't breathe properly. So don't do that. Buy an actual binder. Be smarter than I was in high school. But this was long before I even recognized that I was trans, so, and non-binary. So I didn't know any better. But I went to, there used to be a thing in my hometown called Bilbo Baggins' birthday party. It was September 22nd every year, when the films were popular. And I went to Bilbo Baggins' birthday party in cosplay, of course. And while I was there, I saw someone else in cosplay, and they had perfectly pointed ears. And I was like, how? I'm like, I can tell it's not a prosthetic. How did you do that? And they were like, super glue. And I'm like, that can't be healthy. And they're like, probably not, but super glue, it works. They're like, just keep it on temporarily, slowly, gently pick it off once you're done. Your ears will ache, but it's worth it. And I was like, okay. So she took her super glue and pointed my ears. After that, every time I did cosplay for the theater, I pointed my ears with super glue. Again, not the smartest choice. But that's what I did. Oh, man. Did I cosplay as a specific elf or just a random background elf? Mostly random background elves. Because I didn't feel that I resembled any of the existing elves to make it worth trying to specifically cosplay that. That my access to materials was pretty limited. So I was going to Goodwill and flea markets and a place that we have in Arizona called Savers, which is much like Goodwill. And I was just trolling for all sorts of stuff like that, that I could cut apart and rework, and that's how I came up with my basic elven warrior cosplay. I was going more for wood elf in general. The Imladris elves are a little too ornate for me to have handled back in high school. Nowadays, I would try and give it a go. Oh, another thing. So, on the subject of cosplay, another thing that I did in high school is I had this sort of grayish blue colored backpack. And this is back when whiteout pens first came out. So people were using whiteout pens to put designs onto their backpacks. And so that's what I did. I designed my backpack to have Elvish all over it. But specifically, hi Alana, keep moving kitten. Weirdo. I designed my backpack to have leaf work that was the same as Elrond's on his robe when he's talking to Gandalf and Imladris. So that's a specific fellowship moment. You know, when Hugo Weaving has his moment of men are weak. Men are weak. Pink cheese gringos? What? What? I'm like, is that another troll? What? Welcome? But yeah, so I redesigned my backpack and it was all Imladris scroll work. I was proud of myself. It took me so many tries to properly pause the movie, because this is back when you had to pause things. You couldn't just take a screenshot or something. And it's before all of this stuff was available online as like production background notes. So I had to pause the movie, draw it out, make a mirror copy on graph paper, and then I used those as, not stencils, but I used them as a guide. That was fun. I'm such a geek and I love it. Did I paint the Elvish writing from the Mines of Moria on my door in high school? Not in high school, but in college I did. I put Peromelo Namino, which is the Speak Friend and Enter. And I also did a thing of The More the Merrier in Elvish on my door. When I had my own room in college. Which didn't happen until my sophomore year of college. My second year of college, I transferred to a dorm that was female-only honors dorm. So it was only ladies who took their schooling seriously. And that was good, because I was placed with a random roommate my first year, and it was a nightmare, because she was a partier, all of her friends on the same floor as me. We were in an honors dorm. She did not care. But she, you know, it's like, I don't care if you party, just don't inhibit my ability to learn, because that's why I'm here. And she was just very, very disrespectful. It was very much a mummy and daddy paid for college and I'm just gonna party because I don't care. But she would come in at all hours, make a ton of noise. She wasn't respectful of when I was sleeping, when I was studying, none of it. And her friends put a used condom on one of my friend's dorm room doors. Ew. Just, ew. Okay? Like, that's gross. So, yeah, zero respect. Zero respect from these people and for these people. So I transferred the heck out of there as quickly as I could. And it was okay after that. But I didn't want to have a roommate. I was scarred after that experience. So I was like, I don't want a roommate. And luckily, at this women's only honors dorm, there was the ability to apply for what was called a closet single. So it was a room for a single person instead of two, but it was very small. It was literally a janitorial closet that had been converted into a dorm room. So it had just a tiny little sink, and I think it was probably about 5 feet wide. Maybe 6, but it was like 5 feet wide. Bit long enough to get a bed in, barely. I put my bed on stilts so that I could have a desk underneath it. But I lived in the closet single for over a year. And that's when I met my elvish boyfriend. And I say elvish boyfriend because dude looked like an elf. I don't have pictures I can share. Everything of mine is packed away, so I don't have access to it. But he was a Brit, had the accent. His accent was like a cross between like your standard London dialect of British English and Welsh, because he went to school in Wales and he was doing his American Studies semesters. So he was at my university for a year. We knew it was going to be a temporary relationship, and so we tried to just, you know, be kind, have fun, be very honest and communicative with each other, which was so good. Like, honestly, as painful as it was to break up with this guy when it happened for the right reason, it happened at the right time, and he always communicated honestly with me. And it might have been, you know, he told me something that I wasn't ready to deal with, and therefore we broke up, but we remained friends because that respect was there. It was awesome. Like, that was the best, like, first real boyfriend relationship that I was in, and it was the best I could hope for. Because he was not afraid to just tell me the truth. And the truth was, he had a girl that he played World of Warcraft with, and had been playing with her for years. And while he was in the US, he was like, for the holidays, I'm gonna go down to Florida and meet this person. And I don't want to have to come back to you, you know, as my girlfriend, and tell you that I've cheated on you. He's like, but I am attracted to this person. I have been for a long time. And if I go down there, something might happen. He's like, so let's talk about it. And I was like, at the time I was not open to poly. So I didn't have experience with that. I wasn't ready for that. Later on, I ended up in a poly relationship very, very happily for over a decade. But at the time I wasn't ready. And so I was like, my thought is, I don't want you to have to come back and tell me that either. So let's break up, you go on your trip, and do what you want and have fun. I'm not here to put a restriction on you like that. But if I'm not ready to handle that, it means we should break up and just be friends. And so we did. And after Christmas break, he came back. I was like, how'd it go? He's like, it happened. And I'm like, I'm glad it did. I'm like, I'm glad that you were able to have that fun with that person that you are attracted to, and I didn't stop you. I'm like, but I'm glad that we're not together so that I don't have any, like, really bad regrets, or it didn't cause any drama. It didn't cause any drama. Because we made the informed decision to break up before something bad could happen. It was alright. He communicated. And I'm like, finally. I'm like, guys should just do that. Be honest about it. If it means you break up, then you break up. So it was great, actually. Yeah, good on him. And I hope he's doing well too. My only regret is that when we were saying goodbye after his second semester, when I knew that he was going back to the UK, and we would probably never see each other again, he asked if he could kiss me. I said no. He respected it, which, again, consent. He was so good. He was such a good guy. He was a good guy. But he asked, I said no. He didn't do it, and we left on good terms. I was still sad. I was sad to see him go. And I was sad that our relationship hadn't lasted longer. But he was a lot of fun. First time I ever watched Firefly. Any Firefly fans? Serenity, Firefly, the whole thing. Mal? He stabbed me with a sword. Who does that? But any Firefly fans, the first time I watched the entire existing series as it was of Firefly, I watched it with him. First time. It was so much more fun. And that was when we were actually dating. So that was so much fun. Because I was in a girls-only dorm, he was in a guys-only dorm. So we would get together in, like, the basement of my dorm, where it was okay to have guests. As long as you didn't, you know, do anything crazy. And we didn't. Because I wasn't ready for that sort of shit at that time. But we had so much fun watching Firefly together. And we saw the Serenity movie together. I took him to see the Cirque du Soleil show Zoomanity, which is their 18-plus show in Las Vegas. That was fun. We were front row, which meant both of us got heckled by, like, all of the comedians in the show. It was great. For the record, I don't like bananas. This sounds completely random, but let me explain. I don't like bananas. Flavor is fine. Texture, not so much. It's a texture thing for me. I don't like the feel of bananas, the mouth feel of bananas. And this isn't a euphemism for anything. But in the show, at one point in Zoomanity, one of the guys, the gigolo character, is going through the audience, and he has an entire, like, belt with a bunch of bananas on the front of it. Hardy har har. And I'm in the front row in a corset, so of course, you know, of course I was gonna get attention. And so he comes over and he dares me to take as big of a bite of one of the bananas as I could. And I did. Crowd goes wild. Because I did well, apparently. I don't know. I have no basis for comparison, but I did well. Even though I hate bananas, like, I really badly wanted to just spit the whole thing out. Ew. But I took a sizable bite, shall we say, of the banana. The crowd goes wild. Gigolo says, "Is this your boyfriend?" And I was like, because at that point we had broken up. We were still great friends, but we weren't together. And everyone was like, "Oh, he must give you a lot of practice." And I'm like, if only you knew. Because, no. Zero intimacy. Guys, I'm on the asexual spectrum. Okay? Like... And at the time, I was very sex-averse, so... But the crowd loved it, so I'm glad I gave a great experience to the crowd. The MC, whose name was Joey Arias, legendary drag queen from New York, legendary Joey Arias, was the MC for the entire show. At one point, they go through. I'm never sure. I know it always varies based on the drag queen if they prefer to be called he or she when they are in drag. I don't know, so I'll use they. Neutral they. But they went through, they saw us sitting in the front row. You know, I was in a corset. Fraser, my boyfriend, or not boyfriend at the question mark, it was weird. He was wearing a collar. So, like, we had a vibe. Caught a vibe. He was wearing a collar. And so, of course, the two of us got picked on. But Joe was like, "Ooh, are you boyfriend and girlfriend?" We're like, "No." "Are you lovers?" "No." To which Joey was like, "Well, hell, kiss her anyway." Fraser turns to me. I had a cold at the time. He turns to me. He gives me a look like, "Is this okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, go for it." He kissed me. Big ol' kiss. Crowd goes wild. It was fun. He caught my cold. He got my cold from a kiss when we weren't even dating anymore. Oh boy. And then after the banana thing, I was gifted a banana as a keepsake. I brought it home and I wrote the Zoomanity logo on it and put the date of the show and took pictures with it. Even though I fucking hate bananas. Oh, what a good time. But he was my elf boy. He was super tall, like 6'8", 6'2", 6'3". I'm 5'1" on a good day. So it was like elf dating hobbit. It was very funny. I'm super short. I remain 5 foot, 5'1". I'm not a tall person. But he was. He could reach the very top of my Christmas tree. Like my family's Christmas tree. Because all of us are short. It was so funny. He smelled great, though. I'll give him that. Fraser smelled wonderful. And I think ace people appreciate that more. Because we're not in it for the other stuff. So we're like, oh, this person smells great. Like, I appreciate that. He smelled wonderful. I wish I had kept one of his sweaters. But again, he was super tall, so like his sweater was huge on me. Like, I could have worn it as a skirt. Like, down to the knees. He was so tall. But after our relationship ended, relatively amicably, and he went back to the UK, didn't hear from him. I have no idea what happened to him. He was afraid when he went back that he was just going to end up at, like, a desk job for the rest of his life. He was not looking forward to that. He enjoyed doing cosplay. He was way into playing World of Warcraft online. And yeah, he was a very artistic guy. He liked making, this, for context, at the time, I didn't know what furries were, but he drew them. So he was an artist, he did figure drawing, and all of his elective classes in college were art classes, because he really enjoyed drawing. He gave me a Valentine's Day card that said, "Be my Franken Valenstein." And it had, like, furry characters of both of us, and a Frankenstein character that says, "Frankie says relax" on his t-shirt. Oh my god. He was a great guy. He was so much fun. John, you've been following me since the Hogwarts Mystery Game. My word, you've been here a while. Thank you. Thank you for still being here. Welcome to the Twitch/YouTube experience. I have a layout. I have special effects. I'm working on more. I'm working on it so that if anybody does a donation, it will make stars and sparkles appear on the screen. Woo! It'll be something special, you know? I just want you guys to have something special when you decide to be kind like that, because you don't have to. But welcome. If you have any interest, John, in my Lord of the Rings stuff, I do have a website now. It's www.elfboy.com. elf-boi.com. I think I need to update that on my YouTube page. I'll look into that. I'm in the process of updating all of my social media so that I can do these simul streams and everything will match. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. I'm in the middle of a move. Forgive me. I try, though. But yes, Frizawoka. Frizawoka was my elf boyfriend. He was very kind. He was a great guy. And I truly wish him the best. I hope he did something with his art and that he's not stuck behind a desk. But for context, if anybody's curious about my love life, I've only had 2 boyfriends and 1 girlfriend. And my girlfriend was my partner. The ace life. Relationships are weird when you're ace. I'm on the demi part of the spectrum. Someone gave me a term recently called igosexual or anegosexual. Like without ego, it's not about me. And that seemed pretty accurate. That I'm not opposed to sex in theory. But in action, I'm like, it makes for interesting relationships. The website is live. Yes, the website has been live for a couple months now. And there was an issue with my contact form. on the website, but I fixed it. So if anybody wants me to do Elvish translations for them, or has a question that you can't find an answer to online, like, do your due diligence, try Google first. But if you find a question that you just can't find an answer to, feel free to message me through my website. The contact form works now. It goes directly to my phone. I see every message and I do respond. Because I figure if you took the time and effort to actually fill out a form to send it to me, I'm gonna respond. But that's how I've been doing the majority of my tattoo commissions and such, has been through my website. I'm so excited. I've done, I want to say maybe 30. I've done about 30 tattoo translations. And that's in the last 6 months. It's exciting. It's a great way to get a little extra income. Oh yeah, my merch is all there too, yes. There are different parts of like the website for various merch. Basically all of my t-shirts and stuff like that, the t-shirts, the mugs, stickers, that stuff is all through Teespring. Or I guess it's just called Spring now. But all of that is through Teespring, and it's all still available. I have various pages on my website to take you to the specific merch that you're looking for. But you will have to purchase that merch through Teespring, separate from the other stuff that I sell on my website, which is my Starscape Pendants. I think I have an example. Yeah, I do. Okay. So this is an example of one of my Starscapes, if I can get the light to cooperate. Focus. It doesn't want to focus. This is a keychain version. It's a night and day. So if you're curious on TikTok, this is what I'm talking about. I hand paint these. So I make Starscapes. I paint them. I make pendants, keychains, bookmarks, that sort of stuff. So that's all available on my website, and I also have all of my essential oil blends. I have an entire set of essential oils based on the Path of the Fellowship through The Lord of the Rings. It starts in Hobbiton and it ends in the Grey Havens. There are 9 blends total, and if you buy the entire set of 9, you get a bonus bottle of the Paths of the Dead, which is honestly one of my favorite blends in the entire set. But it's exclusive if you buy the entire set. You could recreate it if you wanted to, if you had access to essential oils, but it's a very nice scent. Oh, thank you, Preston. Hey, just let me know. And you don't need to order through the website. Girl, like, seriously, text me. You're family. And I haven't gotten you a Yule gift, so text me. It'll be a gift. Like, please let me do that for you. Just let me know your color scheme, bish. Happy to do that as a Yule gift for you, Preston. Yeah, my friends get Starscapes every so often. I'm like, what's your favorite color? Taking notes. Thank you, though. Thank you. Learning you were ace made your relationship a lot better. Helped you explain that it wasn't that you weren't attracted to your partner, it's just that you didn't feel that way about anyone. Same. It's part of the reason my relationship with my partner was so good. Because she had a lot of body issues. A huge amount of body dysphoria. Or dysmorphia, I guess it is, when it's weight related. I have gender dysphoria, so getting in intimate settings is very panic-inducing for me, because this ends up being the focus, and my chest is a source of a huge amount of self-consciousness for me, and gender dysphoria. This will eventually be remedied. I do plan on getting top surgery in a year or 2. I would like to do that. I have the money to do that, even, but it's not the right time. I'm about to move. Let's not do that to myself. But once I am living where I'm going to be, because I have a duplex now with my sister and her wife, they have the larger unit, I have the smaller unit, but we share a backyard. But having family so close, especially LGBT family so close, means that my sister will be able to take care of me and help me through the recovery once I do get top surgery. So it'll happen. Oh man, I can't wait. I made a post for my Patreon about like all the reasons why I can't wait. I just can't wait. It's gonna be great. I never posted it, but I did draft. I think I'll probably post it when I'm actually closer to doing the actual top surgery. It's a very personal thing though, so that's for Patreon. That's not something I'll probably be making a lot of social media on. But y'all will probably see my recovery. Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, you'll probably see at least some stage of my recovery. But yeah, being on the ace spectrum is what helped my relationship with my partner, because she didn't want anything physical with me, and I didn't want anything physical with her. And so we turned to fan fiction and original fiction as a way to express sexual desire for each other without having to act on it. We could explore kinks, we could be any individual we wanted to be. We could be top or bottom or switch or what have you. We could be super sadistic, we could, have a very unhealthy relationship through fiction, and everything was okay. Because it was the ultimate safe space to just, hey, I have this idea. What if we try this? And then just play characters back and forth with each other. And so, and of course, fanfic authors, not the entire point, I won't generalize it to that, but I would say the majority of fanfiction has to do with either love or sex, or both. Typically it's relationship driven, not action driven. There are some great action fanfics though. All for it, but a lot of the fanfic community tends to be relationship based. So it means that, through our roleplay characters, through our various characters, original characters, Tolkien characters, we fell in love with each other over and over and over again through instant messenger, basically, the entire 12 years we were together. And oddly enough, the first pairing that we ever played with each other was the last pairing that we ever played with each other. We were in the middle of an RP log between Thranduil and Gwyndor when she passed away in her sleep. She had written out her next tag before she went to bed. She hadn't sent it because we had signed off for the night, but she had already written it out. It was on her computer. I miss her so much. I'm more weepy than I think I would be because it would have been our 14th wedding, if you will, our 14th anniversary on the 16th, 3 days ago. The day I got my Twitter troll. Actually, no, the day that I made my Colbert response was would have been my 14th anniversary with her. I miss her. She was the best. Yeah, her death anniversary was September 30th, like the actual day that she passed. And it's been over 2 years at this point. It was 2 years ago on September 30th. I did do a TikTok video about that because I went to a place in Sedona to watch the sunrise over the Red Rocks. And I took her globe with me, which I do have that. That hasn't been packed yet, so I'll at least grab that. All right. So this is Sandra. This is my partner. Just holding it up for TikTok to see. You can see that there are cremains worked in to the globe, along with dichroic glass. The last conversation I had with my partner was about Yule gifts, and I said that I really wanted a crystal ball for Yule. It didn't have to be like an actual gemstone or anything. I was like, don't break your bank, but I would love to have like a crystal ball globe. And then she passed away that night. So I turned her into my crystal globe. And yeah. So that's my partner. So whenever you see this in like pictures that I've done, or if I have it in the background during a video, it's my way of including her in something. Because taking a look at this, people are like, oh, that's kind of a cool crystal ball. But people don't automatically assume that there are cremains in here. But honestly, best gift for myself. And the only reason I was able to do this was because of the Harry Potter community. Shout out. JK might be a raging TERF who's not worth your attention or money, but the Harry Potter community can be amazing. People all over the world donated to the funeral costs for my partner, because I was a YouTuber covering Wizards Unite and Hogwarts Mystery. People I did not know were sending me, $50 donations. You guys blew my mind. So kind. And that allowed me to do this. Because it was something that the moment I discovered you could do this with cremains, I was like, I really want to do it, but I don't have the money. Her funeral costs. We didn't do like a full-out funeral for her. Didn't have that kind of money, even with donations. But I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to worry about the expense. Because she had life insurance, but it was like a very low amount. It was a very low amount. And being a large woman, her cremation expenses were a lot higher because they basically charge by weight. Fun times. Heads up, just so y'all know, in case there are people of size in your life, be prepared. But yeah, so I was very, very fortunate. So fortunate that that the Harry Potter community rallied behind me when I was in that moment of shock and grief. So, shout out Harry Potter fandom. You guys are great. Like not everybody is great in fandom. I know fans can be grating in every fandom. There's always some, right? But by and large, the Harry Potter fandom has been so kind to me. And they bore the brunt of my grief. Have I ever played Shadow of Mordor games? No, but I want to. I don't have the right platform. I do have a PC now that can probably handle it, though, so I believe it's available in PC, and I might give it a try on PC. People have also asked if I will be doing Lord of the Rings Online. Lotro. And the answer is yes, I will try. I will try. I've been staying away from Lotro since I first learned about it, which was actually pretty recently, because I'm not an online gamer. But hi Spooky. Oh, I'm so sorry you lost your doggo. I've gone through so many pet deaths, it's never easy. I'm so sorry. The Discord chat was great, though. See, that's what I love about this community. Like, we're all here for each other, even if it's just you know, an encouraging word, or just being like, I'm so sorry. Even if there is no encouragement and there's no comfort that can actually be gotten, knowing that you're heard and you're seen and you're not alone is so powerful. So I'm so glad they were there for you too. That's great, and I'm so sorry for your loss. It's so hard. It's so hard losing pets. Because in some ways they're more precious than humans. They are! They love you unconditionally. They love you. I'm so sorry. I forget what I was talking about. But there are always some jerks in various fandoms, but by and large, Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings communities have been wonderful. Very close-knit. Oh, sick for years. I'm sorry. It's hard when it's like a slow decline that you can see coming, and you don't want it to happen, but it has to eventually. It was like that with one of our dogs. Our dogs, I use that term lightly because Usa and Calla were not my dogs. They were Sandra and Roger's dogs. I'm not a dog person at all. At all. The only dog you will ever see me around, maybe after I move, will be my sister's dog. Her name is Luna. Luna, aka Looney Tunes, aka McMooney. Don't ask me. I don't know. I don't know why. But Luna is a Pom. She's a Pomeranian. And she's kind of small for a Pom, but she's a normal Pom. She's just a big fluff nugget, and she has the most erratic, cute personality. And she won me over. I'm not a dog person, but that dog is cute. That dog is very cute. Yeah, it's like pulling off a Band-Aid. It hurts. It hurts. Bought our pet a new vacation home. Oh. Whenever we had a pet that we knew was going to pass away and we wanted to do it as gently and humanely as possible, there was a service in Florida when I was living there called Lap of Love, and it was an in-home euthanasia company where all they did was go to people's homes and then in the comfort of their own space, surrounded by the people they loved, the smells they were used to, they would euthanize pets that needed to be euthanized. And then they would help you if you needed help afterwards. In our case, we already had a vet that handled everything else, so they don't rush you. You can take your time. They understand, because it's all they do, they understand what it is to let go and how hard that can be. So every pet is different. They don't rush you. It's super gentle, very humane. And if you have a household with a lot of pets, your other pets see it happen. And so your pets get closure. Because they have that moment where they can sniff and, have a moment with your departing pet to know that they're not there anymore. And that has made it really a lot more gentle on our other pets, especially our cats. So that we don't have, because this happened before we started using that service, we would have a rush to the vet, and then that cat never comes home. And so the other cats are like, what happened? So being able to do that service was so much more gentle and humane for the pet that was departing, but also the pets that were left behind. Honestly, highly recommend. The service down in the Tampa area of Florida was $500. Absolutely worth it. Absolutely. It's never a fun process, but they made it so much less painful. Because it was so much less traumatic. But yeah, I was like, this is a really heavy topic. Sorry, guys. 20th anniversary, Lord of the Rings. Let's talk about pet death. Ugh, sorry. But I'm so sorry for your loss, and I hope that your spirit gets some peace from it, because that's a rough road. Lost his brother 3 years ago. Yeah, didn't know what happened. Yet pets don't understand unless they're around it and they can sense it and smell it, and just, if it's present in front of them, they tend to handle it a lot better. No guarantees, but they tend to. Big comfy sofa in the sky, yes. Oh. Let's say so are my former doggos. They're up there with Sandra now too. She just non-stop cuddles with all our departed dogs and cats, and there have been many. When I moved in with Sandra, they had, let's see, it was Usa and Kala, the 2 dogs, and then Mama Kitty, Machan, Kone, Kire, Yume, Rada. 8 pets? I think that's right. 8 pets. And then after I moved in, we got Dorian and Basil, so it was 10. Dorian unfortunately had FIP, feline infectious peritonitis, passed away just before he was 2 years old. And that one, like, I had never seen a bond between human and cat. I swear, Dorian was my partner's familiar. They were like this. And so to have Dorian pass away, we didn't know what he had until it was too late. But he passed so young, and Sandra was broken, completely broken by it. I had never seen her like that. And she was like that for years. It never let up. Several months after Dorian passed, though, and that's why I mentioned the situation where pets don't know where the other pet went, because Dorian's brother Basil was very traumatized by the sudden disappearance. Though I think Basil somehow knew, because when Dorian was sick, Basil got to a point where he disconnected and refused to come in and comfort his brother anymore. And we were like, something's wrong. Like, we knew something was wrong at that point because of the way that they were interacting with each other. It was almost like Dorian was like, just let me go. And Basil was like, fine, I hate you. And he wouldn't come in after that. It was so sad. But a few months later, we caved and we got, is he here? Yeah, you can see them, they're cuddling. They're cuddling, they're so cute. See my kittens. But we got Gray, Joshua, and Daniel. Gray and Joshua were our 2 cats that we thought we were getting boys. And then turns out they were both female. So Joshua is still Joshua, Gray is still Gray. We call both of them he. They have male pronouns. We just call them our genderqueer kitties, and we want you to respect their life choices. But Joshua and Gray are both technically female cats. And each of them had a litter with Daniel. Daniel is our pumpkin cat. He's the orange and white cat. The only one. So from them we got 5 kittens. We got Clover and Thistle, aka Chubs and Tubs. Clover and Thistle. We still call Clover Clover, but Tubbs is Tubbs. We never call him Thistle anymore. He's just Tubbs. And then Gray had 3 kittens: Phobos, Deimos, and Alana. Alana is the one that I have here. Phobos and Deimos are still in Florida with my roommates, because my dad only allowed me to bring 2 cats when I moved here, which killed me. That's honestly the only time I can ever remember getting so upset and crying so hard that I made myself sick. I made myself physically ill. I vomited and I was sick for a couple days because I was that distraught over not being able to take Deimos with me. luckily, my roommates have now moved into a new house that they just purchased. Bravo. Bravo. Yay, Panda and Roger. So the two of them have all the other cats still. And Demos in the new house has really come out of his shell, and he's so much happier. So I now don't have the heart to take him away. I don't have the heart to take him away. He's been without me for 2 years now. Or a year and a half? A year and a half since I moved away. Ugh. My pretty Demos. He looks just like Gray. But he's a little... Gray is kind of a rotund boy. He's a bit of a fatty McFatterson. He's a pudge. Gray's a bit of a pudge. Demos is muscular and sleek. But he has all, like, the same features as Gray. So cute. I miss him. I love my pets. This has ceased to be a Lord of the Rings stream. It's now just a pet stream. We love our pets. I mean, you know, the Ringwraiths would have taken really good care of their flying beasts, right? Their fell beasts. I think they would have taken very good care of them. It makes me wonder, though. Like, this is an odd thing for me to wonder, but are the fell beasts, because most beasts, like the really powerful ones in Tolkien's, you know, world, the Balrogs, the drakes and dragons, these are all, like, they're all Ainur. They're all magical creatures, right? They aren't human, obviously, but they aren't like the other races of Middle-earth. They are from the beginning. They are the ones who did the song, you know, the Ainulin Dale, the song that was sung to create the world. So, are the fell beasts Maiar? Do you think? Maybe? Do you think the fell beasts are Maiar? I think that could be possible. But then how funny is it that, like, mortal men that became wraiths are then in charge of taking care of Maiar? Maybe the Maiar are the ones, you know, the fell beasts are the ones keeping the ring wraiths in line. Maybe it's the other way around. That's actually a fun point, though. Now that I think about it, because the ring wraiths originally had horses, right? We see that in the Fellowship of the Ring. They lose their horses in the Bruinen, the Loudwater River. When, well, in the movie it's Arwen, in the book it's Elrond, calls down the waves and the ringwraiths get swept away. The ringwraiths themselves don't die from this, but their horses do. And so after that they get their fell beasts. What if the fell beasts were named as, like, overseers of the ringwraiths because the ringwraiths failed? If fell beasts are Maiar, were they put in charge of the ringwraiths? Can you imagine the ringwraiths answering to the fell beasts, though? Not the other way around, because everyone's like, oh, well, they ride the fell beasts. Dude. The fell beasts are just like... Do the fell beasts die? That's a good point. Because it's much like the Balrogs. When you kill a Balrog, because they do get slain, one assumes because the Balrogs are Umayar, they are the Dark Maiar, that their spirits don't perish. Their bodies do. But their spirits don't fully perish, they just become like Sauron did. When he lost his form and had to do without. He was still, you know, a being. He was still in existence, but he lost his body and didn't have the power to take another physical form. Same thing with the fell beasts, if they are Maiar. Same with the Balrogs. So, you know, Gandalf did slay the Balrog. The Balrogs in the Fall of Gondolin got slain. Smaug gets slain. But if these are all Maiar, then their spirits don't technically die. They either are barred from entering Aman or Valinor, or, and if they're barred, they just sort of stay in their wispy, non-physical form for X number of years or however long. They linger. They linger in that powerless, non-physical state. I would assume some would depart Earth entirely and just leave and go back to the void. Or beyond the void. And some, over time, perhaps the Valar decide that they have done their penance, and they are allowed to take physical form after returning to Valinor. These are all possibilities. Tolkien doesn't say. He doesn't say. He does say that when Sauron is destroyed at the end of the Third Age, during the War of the Ring, he doesn't come back. He doesn't take physical form again after that. It's as close to true destruction as you can get with a Maiar. And my partner and I always played around with that. How long does he linger on Earth before returning to Valinor? Is he ever allowed to return to Valinor? If not, is he just permanently in exile? And over millennia, perhaps he develops just enough strength to take physical form again. But he doesn't have the magic that he used to have. Because, again, diminished power. Physical form's overrated. I do have a question over on TikTok. Sorry, I'm doing terribly at going back and forth here. How easy did I find reading the Lord of the Rings books? You're finding them a challenge. It's dry. It's dry fiction. Tolkien's writing style is very dry and very British. And it's not the engaging writing that you'll see from more modern fantasy authors. Which is okay, but you're right, it is a challenge. The Hobbit and the Fellowship of the Ring I read in a week, which is bonkers. That's bonkers fast. And I've never managed to do it since. Silmarillion is even harder. But tips for getting through, maybe? I'm not sure. Just take it one chapter at a time. For me, especially when I'm doing things like the Silmarillion, if I'm reading through it the first time, what I like to do is keep a notepad next to me, because I tend to only read in small chunks. But as I read, once I'm done reading, I'll jot down a couple notes to remind myself in the future where I left off. So I don't have to go back and then reread things going, oh, where was I last time I read this book? So, write down the main characters that you're dealing with and just what happened right before you stopped reading, so that when you return to it, inevitably, you'll know where you left off, and you don't have to waste even more reading time going back and figuring out, wait, where was I? I find that really helpful. Give yourself a little bookmark of a couple notes, just saying where you left off, and you can change it out each time you read. Somewhat off-topic question, no problem. Why was Mount Doom the only place to destroy the ring? Was the place magical in itself, or just the hottest place in Middle-earth? It was the magical connection between the creation of the ring and the destruction of the ring. They do say this in the prologue of the movie, the only in the fires where it was forged could it be destroyed. Cast in the fiery chasm from whence it came. Basically, Sauron, when he created the One Ring, he did so in secret. The other rings of power were created in Eregion, specifically Ostin Edhil. Ostin Edhil was the main craftsman sort of capital of Eregion. And this is where Celebrimbor was, and presumably where Sauron was for the vast majority of his time when he was there, in Eregion. When he was in his Anatar form, his fair form. Which is why we're like, Sauron is sexy. Sexy Sauron. I really wish that they would put him in the Amazon show, but everything that has been leaked about the Amazon show suggests that it's about Isildur, which really restricts it to a very small number of years at the end of the Second Age. So we aren't going to get sexy Sauron unless it's in, flashback. Which, we can hope. I honestly think the best thing that they could have done for a TV series in the Second Age is tell the entire Second Age from Sauron's perspective. I still insist that would have made such a good show. Flip that narrative. Show the motivations and the characterization of Sauron, because there is a lot to go on in the books if you look for it. It would have been so good. I'll be bitter about that till the day I die. I don't have the skill to write a screenplay, unfortunately. I can't write a script for that. I should try. But yes, magic is really unclear in Middle-earth. Don't feel bad for not understanding it, because I don't understand it. And Tolkien was a bit inconsistent. He didn't want the elves to be magical. He wanted them to be so skilled that they appear magical. To human eyes, to mortal eyes, elves seem magical because we don't have the infinite number of years to perfect any number of skills. So elves seem magical on the battlefield because they have had so long to hone their skills that they're on a whole other level. Same thing with other things, with music especially. The elves are inherently musical, whereas men, not so much. So, elves are singing before they're speaking. Like, it's bonkers how fast the elves become musical creatures. So, being innately musically inclined, and then having millennia to develop music, that's why, there are visions, and, Tolkien sort of takes the stance that if you had an infinite amount of time to perfect a specific skill, you would be so good at it that to the basic mortal bystander, you would appear to be magical. That was sort of his feel. Yeah, they gotta be skilled, or else, that's just embarrassing. No, exactly. So that was Tolkien's thought for the elves, but for the other creatures, for the Maiar and such, is it magic? Like it appears to be magic to us, but it could be just in the nature of these creatures. Tolkien created creatures that can summon, transfigure, transmute, and transform themselves through the skill of magical song. Through the skill of song. Everything is song-based in Middle-earth. The entire Earth was created from song. You read this in the Ainu Lindale in the Silmarillion. It's sort of his creation myth for his world. But if you take that as canon, if you take that as, this is the world as it was created, it's not just, hearsay from some elf. If you take that as, yes, that is how he wanted the mechanics of his world to work, then the Ainur have skills that we can't tap into, which seem to us like magic, but to them it's second nature. And we get little tiny hints. We get hints of that same sort of magical feel when you look at the Rings of Power that have special properties because they were infused with part of the spirit of the one who created them. So the 3 elven rings were made by Celebrimbor. Celebrimbor poured himself into these rings, so they have certain magical properties because they are infused with his spirit. Same with the Feyenorian Lamps that we get in the First Age. It's said that there was a certain sect of the Noldor, which are the elves who were once in Valinor and then came back into Beleriand. There were some elves that had a skill with making lanterns that burned with the fire of their spirits. They were called Feyenorian Lamps. Not just because they were made by the Feyenorians, but because Feanor was the spirit of fire. So calling it a Feyenorian lamp makes perfect sense, because they made it sound like there was a jewel on the inside of the lantern that glowed with some of the spirit energy of the creator of that lamp. And several of the elves that were captured by the Dark Forces in Beleriand in the First Age were forced into the pits of Angband under Thangorodrim. I'm throwing out a ton of Elvish words, I'm sorry. These are all locations. Basically, they were taken to the Dark Lord's lair and forced to work in the mines there, and forced to make weapons and lanterns and all of this stuff. And so they were forced to use these skills. Gwyndor, one of my favorite elves in the entire lexicon, Gwyndor was captured by the Dark Forces at the 5th Battle of Beleriand, or the Nirnaeth Arnoediad, the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. It didn't go well for the elves, but Gwyndor is captured around that time, and he is imprisoned for, I did the math at some point, I think it was about 17 years. It's over a decade, for sure over a decade. So Gwyndor is captured, and he is forced to work in these mines and in these smithies in the pits of Thangorodrim. And eventually he escapes. They go a bit more into detail in the Children of Húrin book, the solo book for the Children of Húrin. But Gwyndor escapes. In the process, he loses a hand. But he escapes, and when he is found by Turin, wandering through Ered Gogoroth, or Taurn of Fuin. These are, again, locations in Beleriand. I have a map. If I really wanted to show you, I could. But when Gwyndor is found by a mortal man, he has a lantern with him. And it's presumed that this is one of the Feyenorian lamps, and that Gwyndor himself was one of these elves who had the skill to make them. So it glowed with his life spirit. So you see these instances where magic seems to be present, but specifically for the elves, it's supposed to be an extension of skill. Skill beyond our mortal understanding equals magic. Interview with Tolkien from 64 talks about the races. Yes. I think I listened to that one recently. I listened to one of his interviews relatively recently, and he goes into how he hates allegory. He didn't want the Lord of the Rings, and he didn't want, his world to be allegorical. It wasn't meant to be commentary on something in our world. It was just meant to be its own thing. But in that same interview, they mention elf magic, and he's like, it's not magic, it's skill. He's like, I don't like calling the elves magic. It's just that we perceive them as magical because we don't understand the depth of their skill. So he liked to make that distinction. But other times he just sort of hand waves stuff like, we at some point, I don't know if it was me or if it was other Tolkien talkers, but we talked about how big Legolas's eyes would have to be in order to see as far as he can actually see, as he can canonically see. He would either have to have huge eyes or a way of ignoring the curvature of the earth so that he can see farther, clearer. Physicality-wise, like, the physics of this are impossible. Hey Delta, welcome. Thank you. Yeah, I got the green hair going on. It's green right now. I have to think what color I want to do next. But green's my favorite color, so I've enjoyed it. But yeah, there are these discussions of, how could this even work? It's not skill-based, that's anatomical and physiological. Are the elves just built different, or are they magical? And Tolkien never gives us a really clear answer on that. Why is Legolas able to walk on top of snow? Why is he able to not leave footfalls in grass? You would have to have a density that's super freaking light. Like, people would be able to lift you with a little finger. And yet that doesn't happen. So, like, how do elf? How elf do? We don't know. Tolkien goes, in certain sections where he just hand waves it and says it's magic, basically. Like, it's just sort of we don't have to understand, just let it go. He's like, I'm not going to explain it. I don't want to have to do the work. I'm a linguist, not a physiologist. Just accept the fact that when I say an elf can do this, he can do that. So, yeah, Tolkien is a bit inconsistent when it comes to the concept of magic, but yeah, just enjoy the show. Yeah, I get passionate about Tolkien's Elvish because he gave so much information about it. Like, I wouldn't be on Colbert's case about misspelling Elvish if it wasn't super clear how to properly spell Elvish. But Tolkien is so clear on it. Like, he has his different modes. Orthographic English general use mode is what you should have used to put method onto Method Man's hat. It shouldn't have been difficult, because anyone who knows anything about Elvish, look someone up on the internet. I am so easy to find on the internet. So is Fiona Jollings. And Fiona's the frickin' linguistic expert who literally wrote the book on Neo-Sindarin. Like, we're not that hard to track down. And anyone who knows a significant amount about Elvish would be able to instantly tell you what mode you should use for what project. There are translators online. You can look up Elvish translator or Elvish transliterator. How to write something in Elvish. It will bring you to a website like the Tekkendeel one, where you input your text, it automatically puts it into Tengwar for you. It's not perfect. It doesn't always get every single character right, but it's close enough. And if you put in the word method, it pops right up as being correct. But nah, intern Steve got the assignment, and he just was like, oh, there's a font for this. We can just switch it to the font. No. Do your research, Steve. Damn it, Steve. Hey, Dane on the internet, welcome. LOL. Will I do another potions class? Sorry, John, that I didn't see this sooner. As a fellow massage therapist, you're interested. I may? Question mark? I'm not sure. The reason I'm not sure is, number one, I don't currently have access to all of my essential oil stuff, so it wouldn't be easy for me to actually do a live stream. But I could do a live stream, and what I wanted to do was do a dual stream with somebody else. Preferably Dawn, but his life has been insane and he has not been able to schedule it in, which is perfectly fine. Life totally happens. But I wanted to do a stream with Don Marshall 72 because he is the obscure Lord of the Rings facts guy. I gave him samples of every single one of my essential oil blends for the Lord of the Rings collection. And I wanted to do a stream where I explain what's in each one and really describe the scent and have him react to it and what he smells, because everyone smells things differently. And having someone who just would smell something and then try to describe it to you is going to be different from me having created the blends, telling you what is actually in it. So I would love to do something like that, where someone reacts to my blends in order to better translate that to everybody, what it actually smells like. Because I can tell you what the notes are, I can tell you what the components are in every blend, and what the therapeutic qualities of those components are, but it's not going to give you the general perception of, what does it smell like? Does it smell like this place would smell? Does it smell like a concept? I do my best to describe things, but it's always helpful to have someone else talking. So, maybe someday I would like to. I would like to have something. I'm not sure that I'll do potions class like my Harry Potter based ones. I've been shying away from HP content just because J.K. Rowling pisses me off. As a trans creator, as a non-binary trans person, I don't want to give more attention to that bullshit. So that's why I hesitate. But the blends are ultimately mine, and I could name them whatever the heck I want to. I could rename them and have them not be HP related. So maybe I might. It would be kind of fun to do like my healing potion, because that's honestly one of the best blends I've ever created. Because it works so well for like what it was meant to do. Because it's meant to be good for headaches and good for muscle pain, and it does both wonderfully. Even highly diluted to skin-safe levels, it does its job. I'm so happy with how that blend came out, because it works. The Draught of Living Death as well also is a blend that therapeutically does what it was designed to do. Which is just, it's so satisfying when you make a blend and then it actually does what you wanted it to. So I might want to cover a couple of those. It would be good advertising for the actual blends too. So that wouldn't be a bad idea. In a way, we could say Frodo is the one who doesn't know anything because he's the one who wrote the Red Book. I mean, that's fair. That's totally fair. Oh boy. I appreciate you guys chilling with me. I had meant to do a bunch of ASMR stuff, but now I'm kind of wiped out. I got all emotional and now I'm like, yeah, I don't have the energy now. I'm like, and burnout. Let's say I do have a couple ASMR toys. My little rainbow poppy thing. It sounds really good when I turn on the various voice effects. Hold on, let me switch that over. So that's the difference. There you go. That's the difference between the ASMR version of my streams and the normal version, where I talk like normal. Ah, it's past 10 where you are. Well, there you go. I do also have my monochord still. I haven't packed that yet, so at some point I need to do something with my monochord. Let me grab it. If it's in tune, I'll play it a little bit. It's a big motherfucker. Not bad. It's not 100% in tune, but it's not bad. Okay. Let's get the headphones again. Oh my gosh. Trying to move shit around. It doesn't work too well when I'm sitting at my desk. Okay, so this is my monochord. It is called a monochord. There we go. It is called a monochord because it is 3 octaves of the same note, so it is just one chord. So I'm holding it upside down. Let's fix that. No, I'm not. My goodness. Let me turn off the music as well. Yoink. Okay. Switch things up a bit. Okay. How does it sound? Let's see if I can go deep enough. Who is behind the world? There are many paths to tread through shadow to the edge of night, into the stars above. Mist and shadow, cloud and shade, shall all shall fade. There you go. So that is my monochord. Okay. Music's back. So yeah, I play with that occasionally. Okay. I'm gonna set this aside and hope that my cats don't mess with it. Oh, thank you so much. Psha. No, wait, that deserves a filter. Hold on. Sorry, couldn't help myself. I don't think I've ever played my monochord on stream. I've done it in TikTok videos, but I've never played it on stream. No, I love messing with my filters. I love doing the music-based stuff. It's a lot of fun. Hey, Cindy! I see you over on YouTube. Thank you so much. But yes, so musical stuff. Yay, musical stuff. I do have a couple other fun things. Like, I have all these things available. I just don't use them all the time. So I have this. This is a circular xylophone, basically. It comes with a mallet. So let me switch up things so you get more resonance. There's that. Yeah. So, I have toys. I actually really enjoy playing these things. I've wanted to do an entire, like, Lord of the Rings specific themed ASMR stream. Where it's nothing but me doing, like, songs from Lord of the Rings and, like, whispering every Elvish line in the films. What do you think? Could we do that? I feel like we could do that. I feel like I could totally pull that off. It would probably be a late night thing, and I would do it with the intention of, like, posting the VOD as a separate, chillaxed thing, where I would just edit it down so there's no intro or outro, and it's just me doing the Lord of the Rings thing for like an hour straight. Yeah, Sarah, thank you. I don't know how to do podcast stuff. I need to figure it out. It's something that I want to take the time to actually learn properly. Because I used to be part of a podcast. Yet another thing maybe you guys don't know. So I had a podcast called Crystal Clear Tolkien with my partner. We only did about 8 or 9 episodes before we canceled it. And each episode was a good half hour long. It was very topic-based, specifically about Tolkien stuff, but it was more geared toward, like, the Ainur and the elves. We did cover the Astari in one episode, where we talked just everything about the wizards that we knew. It was so much fun, but Sandra got chronically ill, and she was the one who knew how to set up the audio files and post things to the different sources. Somewhere out there, I believe it's been taken down everywhere at this point, but the transcripts are still on my partner's Tumblr, so I could recreate them if I wanted to, because I have the scripts. So it would be something that I would have a lot of fun recreating in Sandra's memory. That would be a really fun project to do. I just don't know how to work the various files and post it on actual audio-only platforms. I don't know how to post it to Spotify, or what is it, Apple Music, the Apple Podcast Store. Hey, Zoe, you've been lurking. New podcasting resources. Girl, you got my number, you got my digits, please text me. Text me info, because I don't know what I'm doing. I truly don't. But no, I would very much enjoy doing that. And yeah, like, I have slight stage fright when it comes to performing. You wouldn't know it because I'm so outgoing and extroverted in general, but I get really nervous when I pull out the instruments and start playing. It's been a long time since I've been in band, okay? I only did band through high school. I didn't continue in college. I do have a very excellent ear, though. Someone told me I have perfect pitch. I don't think that's true. But I have a very good sense of relative pitch. I can usually remember the original key that a song was written in. Not because I know the numbers, or if someone played a tone, like the background music that's going right now on Twitch and YouTube. Could I tell you what these notes are? Nope. I couldn't tell you if it's a G or a D or an A sharp. Like, I would not be able to pick that out. People with perfect pitch can, though I think it's partially because they've trained it. They know what each tone sounds like, and therefore they can name it. I can't do that. But half the time if someone said, hey, can you hum this line from this song? If I do it, it's in the same key as the song was written in. I have a good sense of relative pitch. So, I have fun with that. With my monochord, the problem is, with that instrument, because it's only on one tone, I have to transpose songs that aren't normally in a key that includes that into a key that does, which means going higher or lower by several steps, typically. Like I just did with the All Shall Fade. You have to, choose what note you're starting on based on the instrument, not based on the original song. So that's a bit more difficult for me. Sometimes I can do it, and other times I can't. But I'm working on compiling a list of things that I can sing or hum with my voice filters to be super, super relaxing. Not necessarily like nursery rhymes, but that sort of feel. Example, I'm going to turn off my music. Example could be the song that's done in Frozen. You know the one I'm talking about, right? The Where the North Wind Meets the Sea. Let me bring up the lyrics, because I don't remember every single lyric. Yeah, all is found. All is found. Lyrics. Okay. I'm going to switch back over. Okay. I'm going to turn on my filter and give it a go. Because I can. Okay, there we go. But that kind of thing. Doing it either super slow, like that, or maybe using the less intense, like the cave sort of sound, instead of the really sustained ones. But the sustained one is really good for humming. It's really good for humming. Singing, I feel like it's my cave filter that I created. I made all my filters myself. They aren't presets, I just made them. tried to find something that I thought sounded good. I need one that has a bit more echo, and one that pans back and forth between the ears. I really want to do binaural stuff. I don't have a mic for that yet, but I'm working on it. That's the next big purchase that I will probably get for myself, is a binaural mic. So, yeah, stuff like that. I like doing these things. Same, you practice flute for 20 years. Yeah, gosh, I went from, 5th grade to 12th grade, right? So, I'm like, what is that? It's a lot of years. It's 7 years? Right? Yeah, 7 years. About 7 years. So I only did like 7 years of flute, so you're hardcore to do 20. I didn't do it into college. And if I tried to play now, my embouchure was terrible. I wasn't the best flute player out there. I was pretty good at doing vibrato, but that's because I sing all the time. I'm constantly singing along with stuff, like especially in the car. Whenever I am driving, I am singing. Usually, BTS, but I love K-pop, okay? BTS, Monsta X, and Hypen, Tomorrow by Together. Basically, like every big hit group, plus some extras tossed in. Yeah, I don't even know where my flute is. I have one somewhere. It's somewhere. One of these days I need to track it down. I think I gave it to my mom for safekeeping because I was moving and such. I didn't want to lose it. It's an expensive instrument, so I think my mom still has it somewhere, but I don't know where. And if she doesn't have it, then it's tucked away somewhere in my stuff, and I have no idea. No clue where it would be. Maybe it's in a memory box somewhere in my storage unit. I don't know. But if I were to play now, it wouldn't be nearly as nice. That's when I was, like, practicing regularly. Gotta practice. Like they say at two-set violin. Gotta be like Ling Ling. Ling Ling practices 40 hours a day. Why can't you be more like Ling Ling? I'm not Ling Ling. Yeah, 40 hours a day. If you don't watch Two Set Violin, highly recommend. Especially anything where they're doing the Ling Ling challenge. Because these guys have toured, like, to schools and stuff, and had middle school or high school orchestras try and do the Ling Ling challenge. Hilarious. They are fantastic. They are so entertaining. And as a former musician, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. My roommate back in Florida was also obsessed with Lindsay Sterling before she got big. Like, he was all over her. I think he was into her even before she started doing, like, America's Got Talent and then made albums and stuff. He was such a fanboy of hers, still is. And she's amazing. She's amazing at what she does. I love how she takes a challenge and just is like, you think I can't do that? Like, give me a few months. I'ma do it. I love her sass. Because they were like, well, good job, you dance around a little bit when you play, woo. But you're not, like, flying through the air. And now, like, I think in her current tour, she does a whole aerial act. She learned hair suspension. Like, the actual circus act hair suspension. Traditional, where, like, they take your hair and they braid it up and put it into a bun on the very top of your head so that it's centered. And then they connect that to a suspension rig. And you are hanging by your hair. Hey, Faye Magenta, welcome. But you're hanging by your hair. And you put your entire weight onto your hair and you can fly through the air. You can swing back and forth and spin and do all sorts of stuff, but it's all suspended from your hair. She does that. She plays violin while doing that. Because the people on America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent, whatever show she was on, were like, well, you know, this is great, but you're not like flying through the air. So you're not good enough to fly through the air and play. And she's like, you can watch me. Oh, watch me, ooh, watch me. Like she does not take a no. And I love it. I have pretty thick hair, but I don't have enough of it. Like you need a good length of hair in order to properly, you know, get a bun of substantial oomph. but it's all about where it's placed, and you train your scalp. You train your scalp and you train your neck to be able to handle it and steady everything. It takes so much work and so much poise to learn that particular circus art. And she did it. She also does aerial acts. I think she does like aerial hoop at some point, playing the violin while doing aerial hoop. Girl blows my mind. It's fantastic. Like that's a person who wants to entertain. Like it's not even just about her music, which is also fantastic. She tends to be a bit more technical of a violin player, where she wants to be. It's much more technically based instead of artistically based, in that she doesn't tend to deviate. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense? Hopefully I am. But she's a very technical violinist, which is not typically my style. I like things where people will take a little bit of liberty and there will be something different about the interpretation every time they play. So technical is great, and you definitely need technical skill. It's not a bad thing. But she tends to be a bit more on the technical side than I typically like. But her music is freaking fantastic. And she obviously has so much fun with it. And takes the entertainment part so seriously. And just absolute kudos to her for that. Because it's one thing to be a great musician, and it's another thing to be a good entertainer. Some people have that magnetic quality that you want to keep watching them, even if they aren't the best violinist ever. You know, like, and she's not the best violinist ever. I'll happily say that. She's not the best violinist ever, but she is, to my knowledge, and hey, throw me some more entertainers for me to review, but she is, to my knowledge, the most entertaining violinist in the world right now. For people who don't have a huge knowledge of classical music. Because what is entertaining is very subjective. She puts on a great show, though. That's all I'm saying. She puts on a great show. Yeah, Ling Ling. Ling Ling's the best. Ling Ling's always the best. No one can ever top Ling Ling. I mean, accurate though. Like that's the whole point of Ling Ling, right? I mean, that's what you get when you practice 40 hours a day. Incomparable. Uncomparable. I'm so distracted by this right now. This is also like such a wonderful rainbow gradient. It doesn't show up as well on my webcam for the live stream, but over on TikTok, this looks great. Love it. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you like my energy and that you like my videos. For the most part, I'm pretty positive, I feel. Like, you know, I might hand someone something, you know, to make a point, but I never do it out of malice. Like, I never make a video to be an asshole. I might do a video to be snarky. But it's always meant in good fun. I never try to, you know, bring people down. Because why? I don't have the energy for that. You know, I dealt with my Twitter troll in a very public, amusing way because I thought it was funny. And I was bored. Let's be real. I was bored that day. I was feeling kind of down because it's right around my anniversary with Sandra, and I've been, you know, sad and depressed. So him commenting, "Oh, you must be such a sad and lonely individual," I'm like, yeah, no shit, bro. Like, why do you think I'm taking this out on you right now? Because I should be celebrating my anniversary, but I can't because my partner's dead. So I'm gonna have my fun one way or the other. Oh, yeah, if we can explain what Ling Ling is. Ling Ling is the amalgamation of every Asian parent yelling at their Asian kid to practice more and comparing them to some fictitious, never achievable level of some other kid. So Ling Ling is just that kid. It's that Asian kid that is always going to be better than you because she practices 40 hours a day. Why can't you be more like Ling Ling? It's the entire stereotype condensed into a single person. So with Two Set Violin, which is a channel on YouTube, they also have a TikTok actually. But Two Set Violin, they make content pertaining to specifically violin, but classical music in general. And Ling Ling was just sort of their funny creation to describe that specific lived experience for them as Asian boys who were both violinists. Brought up constantly striving for that unachievable level of Ling Ling. So they mention it all the time. They have Ling Ling insurance for whenever they say something that they could probably get in trouble for. Like, oh, just kidding, Ling Ling. Ling Ling insurance. Yeah, the pinnacle of musicianship. Yeah. Who practices 40 hours a day. Yeah, Ling Ling could be male or female. In my head, it's a female violinist? I don't know. It could be anyone. It is a non-binary name. Yeah, my TikToks are very high energy. That's because I have to speak really quickly to get all the information that's in my head into a single minute of content. So I tend to be really, like, focused, and I try and get everything, like, really down. I tend to be pretty chill in my live streams. Yeah, it's pretty calm. It's a pretty calm vibe. Unless I'm in person with other people. When I'm solo streaming, it's a completely different vibe compared to when I'm group streaming. Anyone who knows me from Harry Potter will probably attest to this. That when I'm doing group streams, I tend to be a lot more energetic and bubbly, and because I think part of this is an unconscious thing, but I think part of my brain, when I'm in a group, I'm unconsciously competing for attention. Does that make sense? Like, it's probably based in some sort of insecurity of mine. I don't know. I haven't done the Freudian analysis of this, but when I'm in a group, I tend to assert myself more. Because I want to be seen and heard, and I want to stand out. So I tend to be more outgoing when I'm in a group stream. But also I get way more excited when I have someone that I can look in the eyes and you know, share information with and play off of their energy. Like it reinforces my own energy. That's why I'm an extrovert. That is the definition of my extrovertedness. Did I turn 20? No, this isn't about me. It's Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring turns 20 years old today. The movie premiered 20 years ago. So December 19th, 2001. 20 years ago. My god, you think I'm 20? Thanks! I'm getting to an age where that's a big compliment. I'm 35. I'm 35. Like, for the record, I am 35. I don't make a secret of my age. I am endlessly amused by people thinking I am way younger than I am. Miss Ardell? What? Who? Whom? Whom are we talking about? No, it's just me. My name is Chris. I'm a big Tolkien nerd. That's about it. But thank you. Hey, no, I didn't just turn 20. I'd be kind of an old-looking 20, I think. But I'll take it. I'll take it. I usually get mistaken for more around the age of like 25, 27. I'll take it. Yeah, mid to late 20s. Yeah, that's what most people say. But no, it's not me who turned 20. It's Lord of the Rings that turned 20. Thank you, though. That made my day. No, I appreciate that. Thanks. No, I'm 35. I'm 35. You've never watched Lord of the Rings? Well, hashtag not sponsored, but the only place to watch the extended editions, which I would highly recommend. The extended editions of the Lord of the Rings films, the entire trilogy, are available on HBO Max. You can stream them on HBO Max. I mean, or you can buy them. If you don't want to pay a subscription to HBO Max, go and buy a couple copies. You can watch the original versions, like the theatrical versions, instead of the extended, but the extended has so much extra content that, to me, very much worth it. Highly recommend. "14 years? Okay. I doubt Sauron would do that. I doubt it. I mean, wishful thinking. I mean, I would love for Sauron to kiss my ass. I would feel blessed. Hashtag blessed. The theatrical cut does feel just kind of empty compared to the extended editions, when you're used to it. Bish, if you don't know who that is, then why you here? Oh, man. If you don't know who Sauron is, then like, this is not the stream for you. Nah, girl. And I mean G-U-R-L. I don't care what your actual gender is. German? Oh no, okay, we done. Bye. Bye, both of you. Bye. Done with that. Nah, girl. I'm like, if you can't even tell that I'm insulting you right now, then this is not the stream for you. Bye! Ain't got time for that. Nope. Yeet. Bye, trolls. Hi! Hi, TikTok people. I'm live over on Twitch and YouTube at the moment, so if you want to hear the music or any voice effects that I do, if I switch into ASMR briefly and you're like, what? Like, I can barely hear them. It's way more audible over on my channels. So, link in bio, either YouTube or Twitch. I simul stream, so I'm on both places, whichever is your preferred. If you'd like to support me, though, you need to do that on YouTube, because I am not part of the affiliate program on Twitch, because they have an exclusivity clause, which means I can only stream on Twitch, and I don't want to. So, you can't subscribe over on Twitch anymore. You can follow me so that you'll get notified when I go live, and cool, if that's what you want to do. Yay. Won't turn that down. But if you want to monetarily support me, you'll have to become a member on YouTube, or head over to my Patreon, or head over to my website. My website has stuff you can buy. It has merch and things, so feel free to do that. It's www.elfboy.com. elf-boi.com. Elfboy. Yeah, Zoe, yeah. I've been wanting to do it for a while. I wasn't positive about the exclusivity clause until I actually, looked it up and was like, okay, I want to switch to YouTube, I think. And if so, what do I need to do? Number 1, leave the Twitch affiliate program. Okay. Sauron in his Anatar form or default form. Like, who would I want to kiss my butt? I mean, I'd take either. This is essentially the same being we are talking about. Regardless of the form. If I'm having a Maya kiss my ass, I'll take it any way I can get it. No, honestly, if that were to actually happen, I would be super awkward. Because gender dysphoria. I would get in that situation completely freeze. Because I'm demisexual and I have a lot of gender dysphoria, so, that would not go well. But it's fun to think about. Extended editions get so much better when you've read the Silmarillion the Unfinished Tales. Absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. Oh yeah, for practicality, certainly Anatar. Yeah, agreed. Sauron, even not in his fair form, Sauron just not in his armor. Because the armor's pointy. The armor is a bit too pointy. We've very cold, prickly vibe going on there, But outside the armor, it would still be Sauron. He would just look more fell. But hey, if you're into monsters, that's gonna be your vibes. To each their own. All kinks are valid. I love Myron. Oh man, yeah. And to bring it full circle back to the discussion of why I wish they would have gone a different route with the Amazon TV series. Because we know more about Myron based on, Silmarillion and Unfinished Tales and just the entirety of the history of Middle-earth. Morgoth's Ring has a ton of information in it. But we know a good deal about Sauron, and you could make a super compelling character out of him. And there are certain things that go unsaid that leave the window open for a very complex, emotionally complex character. You could make a super three-dimensional character out of Sauron if you wanted to. And I really wish that someone would try. Because I feel like I'm the only one who's done that in fan fiction. And I'm certainly not the only one. There's a huge sect of Myron Celebrimbor, or Anatar Celebrimbor. The whole silver fisting, or silver gifting, depends on which part of the fandom you're in. But that whole ship and the Sauron Morgoth ship, which they call Angband, instead of Angband, which is the, in the first age, it's the Dark Lord's fortress, Angband. But when it's Melkor and Sauron, or Melkor and Myron, they call it Angband. Angbang. Angbang. And silver fisting, yep. Or silver gifting. Technically it's silver gifting, because if you add Celebrimbor's name to Anatar's name, you would get silver gifting. It would be Celebrim Anad. Which I have on a t-shirt, actually. Actually, it's, it's on this shirt. So this is my Sauron is Bisexual shirt. You can get these on my website. But in addition to just saying Sauron is bisexual, I made this graphic where it is the one ring with the Elvish writing on it, with the symbols for male and female for bisexual. The Elvish writing, though, says Celebrim Anad. It says silver gifting in Elvish on the ring. Because I'm a geek. We should know this by now. Hey, pointy armor, if that's your kink, go for it. Then Sauron from the Third Age. Well, Sauron late Second Age. Sauron doesn't really have a form in the Third Age. Not really. No, we are very LGBT friendly here. Like, I'm queer, it's all good. I'm kinky, it's all good. I just got a message today from someone who wants me to translate something more along kink lines into Elvish for them. And I'm like, absolutely, that's like what I'm here for. I'm so here for that. The shirt says Sauron is bisexual. But inside the ring, it says Celebrim Anad. Celebrim Anad. Which means silver gifting, which is the ship name for Celebrimbor and Anatar. Specifically those two. If you're not sure who those people are, please Google them. Just put Tolkien Celebrimbor or Tolkien Anatar. Annatar. Because the name Celebrimbor means silver fist in Elvish, and the name Anatar means giver of gifts. It's gift giver in Elvish. So if you were to combine their names into something, it would be Celebrim Anad. It's just taking our weird convention of trying to combine people's names into a relationship name or a couple name. We do that, it's weird, but the attempt of doing that with Celebrimbor and Anatar gives you Celebrim Anad, which means silver gifting. So that's what the ring says. It says it on the front and then backwards on the back.
I made it myself.
Middle of questioning if you're bi or ace. You can be both. Ace is such a broad spectrum of desire and lack of. Every person's aceness is going to be slightly different. And that is perfectly okay. There are some things you're going to be interested in with some people and not with others. You may fluctuate over time as far as what you want when. That's perfectly okay. So you can be both. You used to think you were pan because you felt the same amount of attraction to people of all genders. It's just that amount of attraction was zero. Yeah, I mean, and that is the combination of being bi and on the ace spectrum. Pan-romantic ace, there you go. Yeah, I was gonna say, there are various delineations of aceness that you can try and find a label that fits, but even if you don't find a label that fits, that doesn't make you any less valid. Yeah, it was a journey for me too. I only recently was given the term anegosexual or agosexual. Not like Eggo waffles, it's AEG. AEGO. Basically means not having to do with yourself. So when I am the focus, that's when I get uncomfortable. When someone else is the focus, I'm A-okay. But it's a very specific sect of being demi. Hey, nice, there you go. Pan-romantic ace. Yeah, I would describe myself as relatively pan-romantic. It doesn't matter to me. Physically, I think I'm more attracted to masculinity and androgyny. And anatomically, the male form is more attractive to me in some ways than the female form, but I don't really discriminate. Again, because I'm in that ace demi mindset. Like, regardless of what attraction I have, nothing's gonna happen, so does it matter? It's a strange space to live in, but I'm okay with it. It's been a journey, but I'm alright with it. But that's why, people are like, oh, are you ever going to have another relationship after your partner? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not looking. My relationship with my partner was very special in that I was absolutely 100% myself. And she loved me for that. But there was zero pressure to be physical. And that's part of why it worked so well, because neither of us wanted that from each other. But our fictional characters boinked like bunnies. Intimate all the time. And we were role-playing, instant messaging back and forth with our characters almost every single day that she was alive. Oh, it warms my heart that you love your partner so much. That makes me happy. It's so wonderful. Like, the freedom that a fictional world provides is singular. Like, there's nothing like it. There's nothing else like it. Where you can make a character, that character can be anything you want it to be. Be any kind of creature. It can be any strange kink or fetish that people might find weird. And you can explore it with that other person who means something to you. And see what happens. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't work, well, then you just try again with something else. It's such a safe space. And it was so great getting to enjoy that for about 10 years. I think we were RPing for between 10 and 12 years. And I have 10 years of that in IM logs, saved logs. I have that on another tab on my computer screen right now. Let's see what conversation it was. Between Dagon and Cathal. Dagon was a water elf character of ours. The water elves... A sect of the water elf population was basically enslaved because they have natural skill with sexual magic. So some of the water elves have more the elemental water magic in our little world that we created. And the other sect of the elves, and they aren't mutually exclusive. Some people could have both, some people have neither. But some elves have skill with... essentially, it's being able to manipulate the physical form of somebody else. If we were to get really technical about it. But it is interpreted as being sexual magic. And so that sect of the population, because that magic is so powerful and it's hard to control, they were enslaved for a period of time. Anyone who showed potential was made infertile and then forced into a form of slavery, where they could utilize that magic, because to not utilize their magic at all would kill them. But it was under a very, very harshly controlled environment. So that character, Dagon, is a freed water elf. And this relationship that he's in with Cathal is after he has been freed and is trying to unlearn some of his conditioning. It's a very sweet relationship, actually. And then Cathal, think of Cathal like Glorfindel. Cathal's personality is sort of what we envisioned Glorfindel would be like in Lord of the Rings. But, a blonde beacon of light, if you will. A warrior who doesn't have a war to fight in anymore. So, very, very Glorfindel. But Cathal was a creature that we called a Myth, which are like a halfway point between elves and humans. We had this other race called the Myth. They lived on a different continent of our world. But at one point, when they realize that the elves are on this other continent and stuff, they start interacting. The races start interacting. So yeah, that's the convo that I have up on my computer right now, is a conversation between Dagon and Cathal. And I was talking about, I have to be strong. I want to face things, not hide. I want to be strong like you. And Cathal says, I'm weak too. We all have cracks in our armor. Truer words. It's such a comfort. It's such a comfort to have that. To be able to, when it was our anniversary, I opened up my phone. I opened up Dropbox where I have all of the records of all of our conversations. And I chose one at random and read it. It was really sweet. And the one that I chose, this was 3 days ago now, the one that I chose happened to be between Xylophone and Glorfindel. We didn't always pair them together, but we did in this particular case. So it was taking place in Valinor. This is after everything. Because all the elves eventually, either they die or they travel to Valinor, so they all end up there at some point, right? So we had Xylophone and Glorfindel finally reuniting and rekindling their relationship. So that was the one that I randomly chose, and it was them talking with Namo and Tilion, who we made a couple as well. Namo being Mandos, the god of the dead, the doomsman of the Valar. Very intimidating character in the books, but if you think about it logically, his job is a very solitary one. He's the one who knows the fate of everything. He knows all paths. And that sort of knowledge would be completely overwhelming and would alienate you from most of the people around you. So Namo is a fantastic character that Sandra really liked playing around with. She played a wonderful Namo. And we paired him up with Tilion in this case. Tilion being the Maya who was in charge of watching over the moon. So we have moonlight personified with the god of death. That was actually a really fun pairing to mess around with, too. So it was a conversation between the two of them and Glorfindel and Xylophone. So it was fun. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Hey, yes, happy 20-year anniversary for Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring. Hey, nice. I'm glad that my voice is soothing. My streams tend to be chill. My videos, not so much. My TikTok videos are way more energetic. Hi, Alana. Kitten. Come here. Come over here. Let them see you. Come here, kitten. There you go. Come here. Yeah. Oh, kitten bit. Everyone say hi to Alana. She is a dilute tortie. Well, you wanted my attention, now you have it. What are you gonna do, kitten? She's like, I'm gonna leave. Ew. That's Alana. And the big blob behind me on the bed, if he's still there. Oh, he's not. He left. Where did Gray go? Huh? Gray must be somewhere in here, because my door is closed. Move, kitten. You like Melkor better than Sauron? I think both of them have a lot of potential as characters. I think Melkor is fascinating because he is the Morning Star sort of character. He is the one that led to the downfall, right? There are elements of that in Tolkien's take. Because you have to establish why does evil exist, right? Well, I love my kittens too. Woo-woo. Oh, she's just nuzzling. Hi. What do you think, Alana? She's super cute. You're a good girl, kitten bit. Alana, Sandra named her. Most of our cats, honestly, were named by Sandra. Gray was named after Dorian Gray because we had a black cat named Dorian who passed away as a kitten. And so when we got Gray, he was sort of a rebound cat. Because Dorian passed away and we were sad, so we got more kitties. Gray was one of them. So we named him Gray as like the continuation of Dorian. He's a very different cat, but Gray attached himself to me. He likes me. And then Gray had 3 kittens, 2 dilute torties, like Alana. Phobos is also a dilute tortie. She has what we call a ghost face. She has a lot of the lighter markings on her face, whereas Alana is mostly the dark gray on her face with she has a couple marks and then a little streak of the pale orange. I know, you're such a pretty kitty. But yeah, Phobos and Alana are both dilute torties. Deimos is all gray, like Gray is. But has more the musculature of his daddy. Even though I refer to Gray as being a male cat, he is technically a female cat. We didn't know that when we got him. So, the name and the pronouns stuck. You have school in the morning. Please get some sleep. Even if it's online and locked down, you want to have a clear mind and be able to absorb the information. So please get some rest. Thank you for joining me. It was good seeing you here, Celine. Yeah, poor Dorian. He had a rough time as a kitten. He was the sweetest boy, though. Oh my goodness, that cat was so sweet. He was a good boy. And he had such a bond with Sandra. The two of them were crazy close. I still have yet to see a connection between human and cat like that one. Occasionally I'll see videos on TikTok that remind me of it because you can see that there's such a love and connection between, a person and their cat every so often. Dorian was a black kitten. Dorian and Basil, Basil being named after Basil Hallward, who is the guy who created the portrait of Dorian Gray. If anybody has read Oscar Wilde, these are literary characters. So we named the black kitty Dorian, and we named the tuxedo kitty Basil. Basil is still alive. He's still in Florida with my roommates. I miss him terribly. He's my honeybee, Mr. B. But Basil and Dorian were brothers, and they came from a friend whose cat had kittens. Unfortunately, her cat was an outdoor cat. She refused to spay that cat, and therefore she kept having kittens, because she got around being an outdoor cat in Florida. But it also meant that the kittens were exposed to fleas very, very young. So we took the kittens home. They were just old enough to be adopted out. And we took them home. We had to de-flea them, which neither of them liked, of course, because it involves soapy water and a lot of combing, and the cats did not like it. But we de-flea'd them, got them nice and healthy, and Dorian just attached himself to Sandra, and it was the sweetest thing. I wanted Basil to attach to me, but he attached more to Roger. Once again, I was in a polyamorous relationship. My partner has a husband, or had, because my partner is now dead. So we had what was called a V relationship, me, Sandra, Roger. It's not a triangle, it's not a triad, it was just a V. 3 points. So, Basil got really close with Roger instead, and I was like, which is okay. I got Gray. I got Gray later on. But Dorian was a very healthy, happy kitten. He was super energetic. Sandra had this way of calling him Dorian, and when she would do that, no matter where he was in the house, he would hear her and he would sprint to her. At one point, he was a very athletic kitten. At one point, he zoomed across the entire house to get to her when she called him. And she was sitting at she used a tray table for her desk so she could just sit in a comfy chair and have her computer there. He leapt over the tray table and her laptop straight into her arms. It was the cutest thing ever. I remember that. Oh man, he loved Sandra. Sandra loved him. But he had feline infectious peritonitis, FIP, which is terminal. It 99% of the time will kill your cat before they're 6 months old. In Dorian's case, he didn't get it immediately. He developed it slowly. So we had him for 22 months, so just under 2 years. But the last 6 months of his existence were very sickly. And none of the vets knew what he had. And so we were like, oh gosh, we're saving up money thinking we have to do exploratory surgery, figure out what's wrong. We thought maybe he had some sort of, gastrointestinal thing, something was making him sick. Maybe he had a rare form of kitty cancer. We didn't know. So we were saving up money to try and do something exploratory. And one morning he just collapsed. He had started, his belly had started bloating, which is why we thought it was something gastrointestinal. But he was being very carefully, hand-fed by Sandra when he got really sick. It's so expensive, to treat a cat that has FIP. It's so expensive. It is possible, and I know because I backed a GoFundMe for an author whose cat was her little gray kitten was diagnosed with FIP, and she was like, I can get treatment on the black market for this. I can save this cat, but I don't have the money. And this is before she got her book deal. Shout out Jiren Zhao. She is the author of Iron Widow. Highly recommend this book. This is like Handmaid's Tale meets Pacific Rim, is how it's described. It's giant mecha in ancient China. It's a retelling, reimagination of the story of China's only female emperor, Wu Zetian. Oh, does Ziren use they, them now? Thank you for correcting me. I didn't know. I haven't kept up with them. Great book, though. I haven't gotten through the entire thing, but I started it before I learned that I was moving and started freaking out. I started reading it. It's fantastic. Highly recommend. But Ziren's kitten, Makochin, had FIP. And so I was determined. I was like, Sandra would have wanted me to support this person and their kitten. And so I, in Sandra's memory, donated toward the cause, and her kitten is alive and well. And every time I see a picture of that kitten on social media, I feel wonderful. That I wasn't able to save my kitten because we didn't know what it was until Dorian went neurological. Where his nerves were being affected by the FIP, and you had to put him down at that point in order to keep him from being in pain. Poor kitten. And that happened so suddenly. He collapsed and let out this terrible yowl, and Sandra and I immediately rushed him to the vet. The vet was just like, unfortunately, I know what this is. She's like, I don't think your other vets happen to have experience with this, but I know what this is, and it's terminal. She's like, and unfortunately, your kitty is neurological. You have to put him down now. We waited only long enough to get Roger to the vet from his workplace. He immediately just, family emergency, gotta go. And we had to let him go. We had to let Dorian go. And my partner was completely shattered by it. And she loved Pumpkin, our orange kitty that we got later. Like, we always say that Dorian's the one who sent us Daniel. Daniel's our pumpkin cat. We call him Pumpkin. But we like to think that when Dorian was going up to the Rainbow Bridge, he passed Daniel's spirit on the way and said, I'm going to send you to the best mommy. I'm going to send you to my mommy. Because my mommy's hurting and needs you. And so we got Daniel, I think about 4 months after Dorian passed. Actually, no, it was less time than that. How many weeks old was Daniel? It worked out so that basically when Dorian passed is about the same time Daniel was born, which is why we like this theory that their spirits passed and Daniel was sent to us by Dorian. So we like this theory. It's comforting. And yeah, so are you gonna stop, kitten? My cat is grooming my arm, but she has a very rough tongue. Alana. Silly girl. But yeah, so that's how Dorian passed, but he sent us Daniel and our pumpkin kitty. Like, the connection between Sandra and Daniel was almost like an extension of her connection with Dorian. It was the sweetest thing. Daniel is still alive. Daniel outlived Sandra, unfortunately. Because we had quite a large menagerie of cats and dogs. Excuse you, kitten. Come on, please. Alana. Okay, if you want to go on the lap, you can go on the lap. Just settle down, girl. Let me get my mic out of the way. There you go. No? Okay. You're so hard to please today. I'm like, what was I talking about? I forget. But yeah, so it was like Daniel was sent to us by Dorian. Super sweet. He has a lot of the same habits too. I had never seen a cat play fetch the way Dorian did. He loved playing fetch. Especially with twisty ties, those plastic twisty ties that you can get with like electronics and stuff. He loved those. He would love playing with those. And poof balls. Specifically pink poof balls. We don't know why it was that color that he really liked, but he would pick out the pink ones. Daniel picked out the pink ones and wanted to play with the pink poofs, and he would play fetch just like Dorian did. It was uncanny. So, we like this theory that Daniel was sent to us by Dorian. So, very sweet kittens. But we got Gray, Joshua, and Daniel. And then Daniel impregnated each of Joshua and Gray. Don't let the name Joshua fool you. Joshua had 2 kittens, and Gray had 3. So that's the story of Dorian. Very, very sweet kitty. Where am I moving to? No, it's not Europe. You think a European country would let me in? I mean, I wish, but no, it's not gonna happen. I don't have any marketable skill. I mean, unless someone in Finland feels for me because I like Elvish and, Quenya was based on Finnish. I mean, if that could get me over to Finland, then hell yeah, sign me up. I'd have to learn the language, but, I mean, when has that ever stopped me? But no, unfortunately, no. It's just elsewhere in the US. I'm trying to be a bit more secretive about it. But I mean, it's easy enough to figure out because my time zone is going to switch. And there's only a couple places in the US where that happens. So if you did any sleuth work, you would find out that I'm still in Arizona. I'm in Arizona, but I'm not going to tell you where. It's hot here. That's all you need to know. But I want to be a bit more secretive because I've been pretty open about where I've been currently living, and I want a little more anonymity going forward. Oh, no, it's perfectly fine. Daniel is the next of the 9 lives. I know, it feels that way. It really did feel that way. And every time, because we had a large menagerie of cats, this is where I was going with this, we had a large menagerie of kitties. And as such, every time we would lose another pet, Sandra would cuddle Daniel and she'd be like, I'm adding 5 years to your sentence. She's like, I lost Dorian way too soon, so you, Pumpkin, have to make up for this. And she was like, okay, Daniel, Pumpkin Kitty, you have 20 years. You have to last 20 years. And every time another kitty dies, I'm adding 5 years to your sentence. And so by the time Sandra passed away, I think Daniel was up to like 40 years. 40 or 50. Because we had a lot of older cats. They died of natural causes, but yeah, the kitties kept dropping like flies, and so Daniel's sentence was like 40 years. I'm like, there's no way this cat's lasting that long. Super cute though. Oh man. We gently told Pumpkin once Sandra passed, and once Daniel was not in his own grieving period, when he started opening up again and being affectionate, we were just like, I think it's safe to say that Mommy would let you go. That your contract was with Mommy, and your Mommy's not here anymore, so if you gotta go and join her on the Rainbow Bridge, it's okay. Like, we're not gonna hold you to the 40-year contract. Oh, thank you so much, Dana the Internet. Thank you. Hopefully this was amusing and relaxing, apparently. Have I ever read ElfQuest, which isn't Lord of the Rings related? I have not. Because I'm a super slow reader, I don't read a lot. I get distracted very easily when I'm trying to read. Which is why reading the RP logs between me and my partner works really well, because it's just little tiny bite-sized things. And I can leave it and then come back to it without going, wait, where was I? What was I doing? Who was I reading about? So, yeah, it's a lot easier. So I haven't read it. I have not. Oh, it's a comic book series. That wouldn't be as difficult for me. I'll have to look it up. I will look it up. Thank you. Will do. I should probably get going. We're getting to the point of the stream where I really need to leave because I'm not the only one who lives here. Normally I would continue, but I'm living with my father still at the moment until next month, and he needs to practice. He plays the clarinet, and he just got a bunch of new music for a group that he wants to play with, but it's pretty difficult music, so he needs to practice. Gotta practice 40 hours a day. I'm cutting into that time. Windy Peony. Okay, I'll look it up. Thank you. Thank you for the suggestion. I do enjoy comics, so I would have fun with that. Alright guys, I'm gonna call it quits for the day. Didn't do too much ASMR this time. I wasn't properly prepared for it, and I got emotional, so maybe next time. But I'm hoping to do a stream soon, like I said, where I do primarily ASMR. If I do that though, it won't be on TikTok because you guys can't hear any of it. So if I do that, I will try and post about it, but please follow my other social media. I usually post on Twitter when I'm gonna go live, and if you either subscribe or follow, depending on the platform, if you follow me on either YouTube or Twitch, because I simulstream, you will get notified when I go live. So if you are interested in like a late night relaxing ASMR stream, I will try and make that happen soon. Before the end of the year. That's the goal. Oh, definitely, Zoe. I would totally see you later. Are you streaming tonight? I'm like, hold on, everybody. Gotta find out if Zoe's streaming tonight. And if so, what are you streaming? Tell the people. Need the info. Because girl, I've been missing watching you Stardew, and I've been missing watching you do watch parties for Psych. So girl, if you're doing psych anytime soon, I will be there. Which platform? It'll be Twitch and YouTube, both. I simultaneously stream to both. So whichever is your preference, you can follow me there. If you want to support me monetarily, though, become a member over on YouTube. If you would normally subscribe through Twitch, do the same thing just over on YouTube. It's called a membership. Psych is Saturdays. Okay. Tomorrow's Animal Crossing or Spiritfarer. I didn't get to see much of your Spiritfaring one because I was like heading to bed when I popped in to say hi. Animal Crossing would be nice and relaxing though too. I enjoy relaxing games when I'm trying to go to sleep. So shout out Zoe Fleischer. If you guys are on the Twitch stream and can see Zoe, please give her some love. I will try and plan out a full ASMR humming, singing, Lord of the Rings, Elvish speaking stream. It'll be fun. And when I end up doing that, I will advertise it, I promise. Everybody, please take care. I may not stream until after the holidays, so if I don't see you in the next few days, please have a safe holiday season. If you are not vaccinated, please isolate. Do not put yourself in danger. Do not put anyone around you in danger. We have new shirts, new merch over on Don Marshall 72's channel. It's donmarshall72merch.com. If you want a t-shirt or sweater or anything that says "Get vaccinated," but in Elvish, or in the runic alphabet, so it looks like Dwarvish. It's still Elvish, but it's the runes. So you can get it in the Tengwar, which is a nice flowy Elvish script, or you can get it in the runes, the Kirth. So if that is of interest, if you want to be that person at your holiday gathering and start some shit by telling people to get vaccinated, buy the merch. Have fun with that. It does say "get the healing jab." That is what it translates to in Elvish. I did it myself. And if you or anyone you know needs Elvish translation help, please go to my website, www.elfboy.com, elf-boi.com. I'm there to help. It is what I do. And if you fellow geeks can help pay my bills, that is fantastic. I will take the help. Everybody, please take care. Check out Zoe tomorrow night for Animal Crossing. I will make sure that at least on Twitch I'll be hosting her. So everyone, please take care. I will see you guys in the next few days on TikTok at the very least for a couple videos. And other than that, safe and happy holidays to all of you. Everybody, please take care. Bye. I'll see you guys next time. Please take care. All right, TikTok is done. Bye, everybody. I appreciate you all. Everybody, please stay safe over the holidays. That's the most important thing. And take comfort where you can get it. If that is not your blood relative family, then find your chosen family, because this time of year can be really rough, stressful, full of bullshit. So if you need a timeout with people who actually care for you, find those people, latch on, get some love, okay? And at the very least, know that I care. You are worthy of love and affection and all the geeky goodness. So everyone take care. I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody!